Question 1. A project manager is leading a software development project using an Agile approach. The team has just completed a sprint, and during the sprint review, a key stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction with a feature, stating it does not meet their fundamental need. What should the project manager do first? A. Explain to the stakeholder that the feature was built according to the initial sprint backlog item. B. Log the stakeholder's feedback as a new change request for evaluation in the next sprint planning. C. Facilitate a discussion to understand the root cause of the dissatisfaction and prioritize the feedback. D. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor for a decision on how to proceed. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion to understand the root cause of the dissatisfaction and prioritize the feedback. In an Agile project, feedback from stakeholders, especially during a sprint review, is crucial for continuous improvement and value delivery. The project manager should first facilitate a discussion to thoroughly understand the stakeholders' concerns and the underlying reasons for dissatisfaction, rather than just logging it or defending the work. This approach aligns with the Agile principle of responding to change over following a plan, ensuring that the team addresses the true need and can adapt the product backlog accordingly. Remember that effective communication and embracing feedback are key to delivering a product that truly satisfies the customer. Question 2. During the execution phase of a construction project, the project manager discovers that a critical vendor is consistently delivering materials late, jeopardizing the project schedule. The project manager has already communicated the issue to the vendor multiple times without significant improvement. What is the most appropriate next step for the project manager? A. Issue a formal warning letter to the vendor detailing the breaches of contract and potential penalties. B. Immediately seek out and engage an alternative vendor to mitigate future delays. C. Convene a meeting with the project team and procurement department to review the vendor's contract and explore options. D. Absorb the delays and update the schedule baseline to reflect the new expected completion date. Answer: C. Convene a meeting with the project team and procurement department to review the vendor's contract and explore options. When a critical vendor consistently underperforms, the most appropriate next step is to leverage the expertise within the project and organization to address the issue systematically. Reviewing the contract with the procurement department is essential to understand the terms, conditions, and available remedies, while involving the project team can help brainstorm operational solutions or assess the impact of potential changes. This collaborative approach ensures that any action taken is informed by contractual obligations and overall project impact, guiding toward a strategic resolution rather than an immediate, potentially premature, punitive or reactive decision. Always explore all available internal avenues before making drastic changes or accepting negative outcomes. Question 3. A project manager is overseeing a highly innovative research and development project. As the team progresses, they encounter unexpected technical challenges that were not foreseen during initial planning, threatening to extend the project timeline significantly. What is the best approach for the project manager to address these challenges? A. Document the challenges as risks and initiate a formal change request to extend the project schedule. B. Collaborate with the team to perform a detailed technical analysis, explore alternative solutions, and reevaluate the impact. C. Inform the sponsor immediately about the delays and request additional funding to hire more technical experts. D. Shift to a hybrid approach, incorporating Agile iterations to tackle the technical challenges incrementally. Answer: B. Collaborate with the team to perform a detailed technical analysis, explore alternative solutions, and reevaluate the impact. When unexpected technical challenges arise in an innovative project, the best first step is to leverage the collective expertise of the project team to deeply understand the problem and explore potential solutions. A detailed technical analysis allows for a thorough assessment of the challenge's nature and complexity, enabling the team to brainstorm and evaluate various approaches to overcome it. This proactive problem-solving with the team ensures that decisions are based on the most current technical understanding and that the most effective path forward is chosen before escalating or making significant project changes. Empowering your team to find solutions is often the most effective way to navigate complex technical hurdles. Question 4. A project team is struggling with low morale and frequent conflicts, leading to decreased productivity and missed deadlines. The project manager observes that team members often blame each other rather than working together to solve problems. Which of the following actions should the project manager prioritize to improve the situation? A. Implement strict performance monitoring and individual accountability measures for each team member. B. Conduct a team-building workshop focused on conflict resolution and fostering a collaborative environment. C. Reassign team members to different roles or remove underperforming individuals from the project. D. Escalate the issue to functional managers to address the behavior of their respective team members. Answer: B. Conduct a team-building workshop focused on conflict resolution and fostering a collaborative environment. When a team experiences low morale, frequent conflicts, and a blame culture, the project manager's priority should be to address the root causes related to team dynamics and collaboration. A team-building workshop specifically focused on conflict resolution and fostering a collaborative environment directly targets these issues by providing tools and a structured setting for the team to learn to work together more effectively. This proactive approach helps build trust and improve interpersonal relationships, which are foundational for a high-performing team. Remember that a project manager serves as a leader who guides and supports the team's development. Question 5. During a project's execution, a key stakeholder frequently changes their mind about product features, leading to rework and scope creep. The project manager has tried to manage these changes informally, but the issue persists. What should the project manager do next? A. Refuse to implement any further changes from the stakeholder without formal approval from the sponsor. B. Implement a formal change control process, ensuring all proposed changes are documented, reviewed, and approved. C. Communicate the impact of the changes to the project schedule and budget and ask the stakeholder to prioritize. D. Revisit the stakeholder engagement plan to identify alternative communication strategies for this stakeholder. Answer: B. Implement a formal change control process, ensuring all proposed changes are documented, reviewed, and approved. When a key stakeholder frequently requests changes that lead to rework and scope creep, the project manager needs a structured approach to manage these demands effectively. Implementing a formal change control process is crucial because it provides a mechanism to systematically document, review, and approve all proposed changes, ensuring they are evaluated for their impact on scope, schedule, and cost before being incorporated. This structured approach helps in managing stakeholder expectations and preventing uncontrolled scope growth, maintaining project stability. Establishing clear boundaries through a process is key to preventing continuous scope changes. Question 6. A project manager is leading a global virtual team. Due to significant time zone differences and cultural nuances, communication breakdowns are frequent, leading to misunderstandings and delays. What is the most effective action for the project manager to take? A. Mandate specific communication tools and require all team members to use them for all interactions. B. Schedule all team meetings during a time window convenient for the project manager to ensure attendance. C. Establish clear communication protocols, define preferred channels, and encourage cultural awareness training. D. Assign a dedicated communication facilitator for each geographical region to relay messages. Answer: C. Establish clear communication protocols, define preferred channels, and encourage cultural awareness training. For a global virtual team facing communication breakdowns due to time zone differences and cultural nuances, a multifaceted approach is most effective. Establishing clear communication protocols, such as agreed-upon response times and meeting etiquette, along with defining preferred channels for different types of communication, e.g., instant messaging for quick queries, email for formal updates, provides a structured framework. Additionally, encouraging cultural awareness training helps team members understand and appreciate diverse communication styles, bridging cultural gaps and minimizing misunderstandings. This comprehensive strategy fosters a more inclusive and efficient communication environment. Question 7. A project team is using an Agile approach and has just completed a sprint. During the retrospective, the team identifies that impediments are not being removed quickly enough, causing delays. What should the project manager, acting as a servant leader, do? A. Ask the team to identify specific impediments and offer to help remove them by liaising with external stakeholders. B. Direct the team to assign an impediment owner to each identified blocker for better accountability. C. Prioritize the identified impediments and add them to the product backlog for the next sprint. D. Document the impediments and present them to the project sponsor for resolution. Answer. A. Ask the team to identify specific impediments and offer to help remove them by liaising with external stakeholders. In an Agile environment, especially as a servant leader, the project manager's primary role regarding impediments is to support the team by removing obstacles that hinder their progress. When the team identifies impediments during a retrospective, the project manager should actively inquire about the specific nature of these blockers and then proactively work to clear them, often by engaging with external stakeholders or navigating organizational complexities on behalf of the team. This empowers the team to focus on their work and reinforces the project manager's role as an enabler, not just a director. Your job is to make the team's job easier, allowing them to focus on delivery. Question 8. The project manager has just taken over a troubled project that is significantly behind schedule and over budget. Stakeholders are losing confidence. The project manager reviews the project documentation and finds that the initial scope was poorly defined, leading to continuous changes. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately rebaseline the project schedule and budget to reflect the current reality. B. Convene a meeting with key stakeholders to re-establish and freeze the project's scope. C. Conduct a detailed audit of past expenditures and schedule variances to identify root causes. D. Develop a comprehensive recovery plan and present it to the project sponsor. Answer. B. Convene a meeting with key stakeholders to re-establish and freeze the project's scope. When a project is troubled due to a poorly defined scope and continuous changes, the most critical first step for a new project manager is to stabilize the foundation. Re-establishing and freezing the project scope with key stakeholders ensures everyone has a clear, shared understanding of what the project will deliver, preventing further uncontrolled changes and providing a solid basis for future planning. Without a clear scope, any recovery efforts or rebaselining would be built on shifting sands. Remember, getting clarity on what needs to be delivered is paramount before you can effectively plan how to deliver it. Question 9. A project team is working on a complex integration project. During testing, several critical defects are identified that were missed in earlier quality checks. The project manager needs to address this issue effectively. What is the most appropriate action? A. Direct the testing team to work overtime to retest all features immediately. B. Schedule a meeting with the quality assurance team to understand why the defects were missed and refine quality processes. C. Inform the sponsor about the critical defects and the potential impact on the project schedule. D. Assign the development team to fix the defects and then proceed with a quick retest. Answer. B. Schedule a meeting with the quality assurance team to understand why the defects were missed and refine quality processes. When critical defects are discovered late in a project, merely fixing them is a reactive measure. The most appropriate and proactive step is to investigate the root cause of why these defects were missed in earlier quality checks. By meeting with the quality assurance team, the project manager can gain insights into process deficiencies, training gaps, or tool limitations, enabling the refinement of quality processes to prevent similar issues in the future. This focuses on continuous improvement and strengthens the project's overall quality management system, rather than just patching symptoms. Learning from mistakes is essential for preventing their recurrence. Question 10. A large-scale infrastructure project is nearing its closure phase. The project manager realizes that some critical lessons learned from significant challenges encountered during execution have not been adequately documented or shared. What should the project manager prioritize? A. Accelerate the finalization of all contractual agreements and handovers to meet the project deadline. B. Schedule a dedicated workshop with key project team members and stakeholders to capture and document comprehensive lessons learned. C. Create a brief summary of lessons learned to include in the final project report. D. Focus on obtaining formal acceptance from the customer to officially close the project. Answer: B. Schedule a dedicated workshop with key project team members and stakeholders to capture and document comprehensive lessons learned. As a project nears closure, capturing lessons learned is a critical activity for organizational process asset updates and future project success. When vital lessons have not been adequately documented, the project manager must prioritize a structured approach, such as a dedicated workshop, involving key team members and stakeholders. This ensures that valuable knowledge, especially regarding significant challenges, is systematically identified, analyzed, and recorded, benefiting future projects within the organization. Overlooking this step means losing opportunities for continuous improvement and repeating past mistakes. Question 11. During the execution of an Agile project, the team identifies a significant technical risk that could potentially derail a major feature development. The risk was known but underestimated in severity during earlier planning. What should the Agile team and project manager do first? A. Immediately stop work on the feature and escalate the risk to the product owner for a decision. B. Conduct a spike to quickly research and prototype potential solutions to mitigate the risk. C. Re-estimate the effort for the feature, adding significant buffer time to account for the risk. D. Document the risk in the risk register and monitor it, hoping it does not materialize. Answer: B. Conduct a spike to quickly research and prototype potential solutions to mitigate the risk. In an Agile project, when a significant, underestimated technical risk emerges, the most effective first step is to quickly gain more information to understand and mitigate it. A spike is a short, time-boxed investigation or experiment designed to gain knowledge or explore a technical solution, directly addressing the uncertainty of the risk. This allows the team to research, prototype, and learn about potential solutions or implications, enabling them to make informed decisions about how to proceed with the feature development, rather than pausing or just adding buffer. Spikes are a great Agile tool for reducing uncertainty early. Question 12. A project manager is managing a project with a very tight deadline and limited resources. A new regulatory requirement is introduced, necessitating a significant change to the project's technical specifications. Implementing this change will undoubtedly cause a delay. What should the project manager do? A. Implement the change immediately and adjust the project schedule and budget accordingly, informing stakeholders later. B. Refuse to implement the change, citing the tight deadline and resource constraints. C. Analyze the impact of the regulatory change on the project objectives, scope, schedule, and cost, then present options to the sponsor and key stakeholders. D. Request an exemption from the regulatory body, explaining the project's current limitations. Answer: C. Analyze the impact of the regulatory change on the project objectives, scope, schedule, and cost, then present options to the sponsor and key stakeholders. When a new regulatory requirement impacts a project, especially one with tight constraints, the project manager's responsibility is to thoroughly analyze the implications before taking any action. This involves assessing the specific impact on all project objectives, scope, schedule, and cost. Once the impact is understood, presenting clear options, e.g., adjusting scope, seeking additional resources, extending the deadline, along with their consequences to the sponsor and key stakeholders allows for an informed decision on how to proceed, ensuring compliance while managing project constraints effectively. Always understand the full picture and its consequences before communicating or acting. Question 13. A project team is experiencing significant communication issues due to diverse cultural backgrounds and different preferred communication styles. The project manager notices that some team members are hesitant to speak up in large meetings. What should the project manager do to improve communication effectiveness? A. Mandate that all team members must speak at least once during every meeting to ensure participation. B. Encourage the use of a variety of communication channels and techniques, such as one-on-one check-ins and anonymous feedback mechanisms. C. Implement a strict meeting agenda and time limit to discourage prolonged discussions. D. Provide cultural sensitivity training to only those team members who seem to be struggling with communication. Answer: B. Encourage the use of a variety of communication channels and techniques, such as one-on-one check-ins and anonymous feedback mechanisms. When a diverse team struggles with communication due to cultural differences and varying participation levels, the project manager should create an inclusive environment by offering multiple communication avenues. Encouraging one-on-one check-ins can make quieter team members feel more comfortable sharing their thoughts, while anonymous feedback mechanisms can provide a safe space for honest input. This approach acknowledges that not everyone communicates effectively in the same way, fostering a more open and effective communication flow across the team. Adapt your communication strategies to fit the diversity of your team, not the other way around. Question 14. A project manager is conducting a risk analysis for a new product development project. The team has identified numerous potential risks. What is the most important next step after identifying risks? A. Develop detailed risk response plans for all identified risks. B. Prioritize the identified risks based on their probability and impact. C. Assign risk owners to each identified risk for accountability. D. Update the project budget to include contingency reserves for all risks. Answer: B. Prioritize the identified risks based on their probability and impact. After identifying numerous potential risks, the most crucial next step is to prioritize them. It is impractical and inefficient to develop detailed response plans for every single risk, especially in complex projects with many uncertainties. By prioritizing risks based on their assessed probability of occurrence and potential impact on project objectives, the project manager can focus resources and efforts on managing the most significant threats and opportunities, ensuring that the team addresses what matters most first. This targeted approach allows for efficient risk management and avoids overwhelming the team with less critical issues. Question 15. The project sponsor has requested an expedited project completion date due to market pressures. The project manager assesses the current baseline and determines that meeting the new deadline would require significant compression. What is the best course of action for the project manager? A. Accept the new deadline and inform the team to work overtime to accelerate. B. Refuse the request, stating that the current project baseline cannot accommodate the change. C. Present the sponsor with options for schedule compression, outlining the associated costs, risks, and potential scope reductions. D. Immediately implement crashing techniques, such as adding more resources, without further consultation. Answer: C. Present the sponsor with options for schedule compression, outlining the associated costs, risks, and potential scope reductions. When a sponsor requests an expedited project completion, the project manager should not simply accept or refuse without thorough analysis and communication. The best approach is to act as a knowledgeable advisor, analyzing potential schedule compression techniques, like crashing or fast-tracking, and then present the sponsor with the viable options. Each option must clearly outline its associated trade-offs, including increased costs, heightened risks, and potential scope reductions. This allows the sponsor to make an informed decision based on the implications of expediting the project. Always provide data-driven options and their consequences for executive decisions. Question 16. A project manager is leading a project where the initial budget estimates were developed with limited information, leading to a high level of uncertainty. As the project progresses, more detailed information becomes available. What should the project manager do with the budget? A. Maintain the original budget baseline to track variances accurately. B. Request a complete reapproval of the project budget from the sponsor. C. Progressively elaborate the budget estimates, refining them as more information becomes available. D. Allocate all remaining contingency reserves to high-risk activities to manage uncertainty. Answer: C. Progressively elaborate the budget estimates, refining them as more information becomes available. In projects where initial estimates are made with limited information, particularly in adaptive or uncertain environments, the concept of progressive elaboration is key. This means that as the project progresses and more details become available or clearer, the project manager should refine and update the budget estimates to reflect this newfound understanding. This iterative approach allows for more accurate and realistic budgeting over time, ensuring that financial planning adapts to evolving project knowledge rather than remaining fixed on potentially inaccurate initial figures. Think of it as painting a picture, where you start with broad strokes and add finer details as you go. Question 17. A project manager is facilitating a retrospective meeting for an Agile team. The team identifies that they are frequently interrupted by stakeholders requesting immediate updates, which disrupts their flow and reduces productivity. What should the project manager advise the team to do? A. Instruct the team to ignore stakeholder requests during sprints and direct all inquiries to the project manager. B. Establish a clear communication plan with stakeholders, including designated times for updates and preferred channels. C. Advise the team to create a no interruption policy and enforce it strictly during working hours. D. Suggest that the team work in isolation to avoid all external interruptions. Answer: B. Establish a clear communication plan with stakeholders, including designated times for updates and preferred channels. When an Agile team is experiencing disruptive stakeholder interruptions, the project manager should guide them to establish a proactive communication strategy. Creating a clear communication plan that defines designated times for updates, e.g., daily stand-ups, sprint reviews, and preferred channels for urgent requests helps manage stakeholder expectations without completely shutting them out. This approach allows the team to maintain focus and productivity while still ensuring stakeholders are informed and their needs are addressed in a structured manner. Clear boundaries and predictable communication improve efficiency for everyone involved. Question 18. During project execution, the project manager discovers that a previously identified risk, which was assessed as low probability, has now increased significantly in likelihood and potential impact. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Wait until the risk materializes before taking any action, as it was initially low priority. B. Inform the project sponsor about the change in risk status and propose a new risk response plan. C. Reassess the risk with the project team, update the risk register, and develop a revised risk response plan. D. Transfer the risk to a third-party vendor immediately to avoid further liability. Answer: C. Reassess the risk with the project team, update the risk register, and develop a revised risk response plan. When a previously identified risk changes in its probability or impact, effective risk management requires a proactive response. The project manager should immediately reassess the risk collaboratively with the project team to gain a current understanding of its nature and potential implications. This reassessment leads to updating the risk register to reflect the new status and, critically, developing or revising a suitable risk response plan to address the heightened threat. This iterative process ensures that risks are continuously monitored and managed throughout the project lifecycle, adapting to changing circumstances. Question 19. A project manager is leading a virtual team distributed across several countries. The team is struggling to build rapport and trust, impacting their ability to collaborate effectively. What strategy should the project manager employ to foster better team cohesion? A. Schedule mandatory daily video calls for all team members, regardless of time zones. B. Organize occasional virtual team-building activities and encourage informal interactions. C. Implement stricter performance monitoring to ensure individual accountability. D. Focus solely on task delivery, assuming team cohesion will naturally develop over time. Answer: B. Organize occasional virtual team-building activities and encourage informal interactions. For a virtual team struggling with rapport and trust, the project manager needs to actively facilitate opportunities for connection beyond just project tasks. Organizing occasional virtual team-building activities, such as online games, virtual coffee breaks, or informal chat channels, can help bridge geographical distances and encourage informal interactions. These activities allow team members to connect on a personal level, fostering camaraderie, empathy, and ultimately, building the trust essential for effective collaboration. Remember, human connection is vital, even in a virtual setting. Question 20. A project is progressing well, but the project manager receives a request from a key stakeholder to add a new, significant feature that was not part of the original scope. The stakeholder insists it is crucial for market competitiveness. What should the project manager do first? A. Inform the stakeholder that the feature cannot be added without impacting the project's baseline. B. Add the feature to the project scope and notify the team to begin work on it immediately. C. Evaluate the proposed feature's impact on scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks, and follow the change control process. D. Negotiate with the stakeholder to defer the feature to a future phase or separate project. Answer: C. Evaluate the proposed feature's impact on scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks, and follow the change control process. When a request for a new, significant feature is made, the project manager's primary responsibility is to protect the project's integrity while considering stakeholder needs. The first step is to thoroughly evaluate the proposed change's impact on all project aspects: scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risks. This detailed analysis provides the necessary information to present to the Change Control Board or relevant stakeholders, ensuring that any decision to incorporate the feature is an informed one, made within the established change control process. This systematic approach prevents uncontrolled scope creep and ensures proper governance. Question 21. A project manager is leading a predictive project. Halfway through, the project CPI, Cost Performance Index, is 0.8 and SPI, Schedule Performance Index, is 0.9. The sponsor is concerned about the financial performance. What should the project manager focus on next? A. Prepare a detailed report explaining the variances and justifying the current performance. B. Identify the root causes for the negative cost and schedule variances and develop corrective actions. C. Request additional funding and an extension of the project timeline to bring the project back on track. D. Communicate to the team that they need to work faster and reduce spending immediately. Answer: B. Identify the root causes for the negative cost and schedule variances and develop corrective actions. When cost and schedule performance indices, CPI and SPI, indicate that a project is over budget, CPI less than 1.0, and behind schedule, SPI less than 1.0, the project manager's most critical next step is to understand why. Identifying the root causes of these variances is essential, as it moves beyond just reporting symptoms to uncovering the underlying problems. Once the root causes are known, the project manager can then develop targeted and effective corrective actions to bring the project back on track, rather than simply reacting to the numbers or asking for more resources without a clear plan. Focus on diagnosis before prescribing a solution. Question 22. The project manager is managing a data migration project that involves sensitive customer information. During planning, a new data privacy regulation is announced that impacts how the data must be handled. What should the project manager do? A. Document the regulation as an external risk and monitor its development. B. Immediately cease all data migration activities until the full implications of the regulation are understood. C. Convene a meeting with legal and compliance teams to understand the new regulation's requirements and assess its impact on the project. D. Assume the new regulation will require significant changes and preemptively extend the project timeline. Answer. C. Convene a meeting with legal and compliance teams to understand the new regulations requirements and assess its impact on the project. When a new regulatory requirement impacts a project, especially one involving sensitive data, the project manager's immediate priority is to understand the full implications and ensure compliance. Engaging with legal and compliance teams is crucial to correctly interpret the regulations requirements and assess its precise impact on the project's scope, processes, and data handling procedures. This proactive collaboration ensures that the project remains compliant and avoids legal or ethical pitfalls, protecting the organization and its stakeholders. Ignorance of the law is no excuse, so seeking expert guidance is essential. Question 23. A project team is developing a complex software system using a hybrid approach. The product owner is consistently overwhelmed with feature requests from various stakeholders and struggles to prioritize the backlog effectively. What should the project manager do to support the product owner? A. Take over the prioritization of the backlog to ensure the team has clear direction. B. Advise the product owner to decline all new feature requests to maintain stability. C. Coach the product owner on techniques for backlog prioritization, stakeholder management, and value maximization. D. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor, requesting that they intervene to manage stakeholders. Answer. C. Coach the product owner on techniques for backlog prioritization, stakeholder management, and value maximization. When a product owner is overwhelmed with feature requests and struggles with backlog prioritization, the project manager, especially in a servant leadership role, should empower them through coaching. Providing guidance on techniques for effective backlog prioritization, e.g., Moscow, value-driven prioritization, stakeholder management strategies, and methods for maximizing value ensures the product owner can effectively manage demand and focus the team on the most impactful work. This support builds the product owner's capability and promotes a healthier, more efficient product development cycle. Your role is to enable success, not to take over their responsibilities. Question 24. During a project's implementation phase, a critical piece of equipment fails, halting progress on a key activity. There is no immediate replacement available, and the lead time for a new one is several weeks. What should the project manager do first? A. Inform the project sponsor about the equipment failure and wait for their instructions. B. Update the project schedule to reflect the delay caused by the equipment failure. C. Explore immediate alternative solutions, such as renting equipment or adjusting the sequence of activities. D. Initiate a formal change request to procure new equipment and extend the project deadline. Answer. C. Explore immediate alternative solutions, such as renting equipment or adjusting the sequence of activities. When a critical piece of equipment fails and causes an immediate halt in project progress, the project manager's first priority is to mitigate the impact and resume work as quickly as possible. This involves proactively exploring all immediate alternative solutions, such as renting replacement equipment or strategically adjusting the project schedule by resequencing non-dependent activities. This swift problem-solving demonstrates leadership and minimizes downtime, allowing the project to potentially continue while a more permanent solution for the failed equipment is sought. Reactive planning comes after proactive problem-solving. Question 25. A project manager is preparing for a new project kickoff. The organization has recently implemented a new enterprise environmental factor related to data security and privacy. What is the project manager's responsibility regarding this new factor? A. Ignore it, as it is a broad organizational policy and not specific to the project. B. Incorporate it into the project management plan, tailoring relevant processes to ensure compliance. C. Delegate the responsibility for compliance to the legal department. D. Inform the project sponsor that additional budget will be required to meet the new security standards. Answer. B. Incorporate it into the project management plan, tailoring relevant processes to ensure compliance. Enterprise environmental factors, EFs, are external or internal conditions that are not under the direct control of the project team but influence, constrain, or direct the project. A new organizational policy on data security and privacy is a critical EEF that directly impacts how the project will be executed. The project manager is responsible for understanding such factors and actively incorporating them into the project management plan, tailoring processes like risk management, procurement, and quality to ensure full compliance and protect project objectives. This proactive integration is essential for project success and organizational alignment. Question 26. A project manager is leading a project that requires a specialized component to be delivered by an external vendor. The vendor is notoriously difficult to communicate with, leading to concerns about delivery timelines and quality. What proactive measure should the project manager take? A. Assume the vendor will deliver late and build extra buffer into the schedule. B. Reduce the scope of the component to minimize dependency on the difficult vendor. C. Establish clear communication protocols, define specific points of contact, and schedule regular progress meetings with the vendor. D. Start looking for an alternative vendor immediately, even before the current one defaults. Answer: C. Establish clear communication protocols, define specific points of contact, and schedule regular progress meetings with the vendor. When dealing with a challenging external vendor, particularly concerning critical components, proactive and clear communication is paramount. Establishing clear communication protocols, such as agreed-upon response times and preferred methods, and defining specific points of contact on both sides help streamline interactions. Regular progress meetings ensure transparency, allow for early identification of issues, and reinforce expectations, significantly mitigating risks related to delivery timelines and quality. Building a structured communication framework is key to managing external dependencies effectively. Question 27. The project manager is nearing project closure, and the customer has formally accepted the final deliverables. However, a few minor outstanding issues remain that were not critical to acceptance but are noted in the punch list. What should the project manager do? A. Close the project immediately, as formal acceptance has been received. B. Resolve the remaining minor issues with the team before officially closing the project. C. Document the outstanding issues and transfer responsibility for them to the operations team. D. Negotiate with the customer to waive the remaining issues for a faster closure. Answer: B. Resolve the remaining minor issues with the team before officially closing the project. Even after formal acceptance, if minor outstanding issues, often called punch list items, remain, the project manager has a responsibility to ensure these are addressed before officially closing the project. Full project closure means ensuring all agreed-upon work, including minor details, is completed to stakeholder satisfaction. Resolving these issues demonstrates commitment to quality and customer satisfaction, prevents future dissatisfaction, and ensures a clean handover to operations, reinforcing the project's success. Don't leave loose ends, tie them up before calling it done. Question 28. An Agile team is consistently failing to meet its sprint commitments. During the retrospective, the team identifies that the user stories are often too large and lack clear acceptance criteria, leading to confusion and incomplete work. What should the project manager advise the team and product owner to do? A. Encourage the product owner to break down user stories into smaller, more manageable pieces with clear acceptance criteria. B. Recommend extending the sprint length to allow more time for complex stories. C. Suggest that the development team estimate stories more accurately to account for complexity. D. Implement a strict "no new stories during a sprint" policy to reduce scope creep. Answer: A. Encourage the product owner to break down user stories into smaller, more manageable pieces with clear acceptance criteria. When an Agile team struggles to meet sprint commitments due to large, unclear user stories, the most effective solution is to improve the quality and granularity of the backlog. The project manager should advise the product owner to break down these large stories into smaller, more manageable pieces, ensuring each has clear and testable acceptance criteria. This makes stories easier to understand, estimate, and complete within a sprint, reducing ambiguity and improving the team's ability to deliver predictable increments of value. Think of breaking down a large meal into smaller, digestible bites. Question 29. A project manager is in the process of identifying project stakeholders. The project is highly complex and involves multiple internal departments and external organizations. What is a key characteristic the project manager should consider when identifying stakeholders? A. Only individuals or groups who directly fund the project. B. Only individuals or groups who have a positive interest in the project. C. Individuals, groups, or organizations who may be affected by, or perceive themselves to be affected by a decision, activity, or outcome of the project. D. Only senior management and the project team members. Answer: C. Individuals, groups, or organizations who may be affected by, or perceive themselves to be affected by a decision, activity, or outcome of the project. Identifying stakeholders comprehensively is foundational to successful project management. A stakeholder is broadly defined as anyone who can impact or be impacted by the project, or even perceive themselves as being impacted. This includes individuals, groups, and organizations, whether internal or external, with positive or negative interests, and at various levels of authority. Missing key stakeholders can lead to unmet expectations, resistance, and project failure, so it's vital to cast a wide net during identification. Consider anyone whose opinion or action could influence your project. Question 30. During a critical phase of a project, a key team member unexpectedly resigns. This individual possessed unique technical skills essential for completing an upcoming task. What is the project manager's most immediate and critical action? A. Immediately advertise for a replacement and start the hiring process. B. Reassign the departing team member's tasks to other team members to absorb the workload. C. Assess the impact of the departure on the project schedule, budget, and quality, and identify potential knowledge gaps. D. Inform the project sponsor about the resignation and the potential delay. Answer: C. Assess the impact of the departure on the project schedule, budget, and quality, and identify potential knowledge gaps. When a key team member with unique skills unexpectedly resigns, the project manager's most immediate and critical action is to assess the full impact of this departure on the project's objectives. This involves understanding how their absence affects the schedule, budget, and quality of deliverables, and crucially, identifying any knowledge gaps that need to be addressed. This assessment provides the necessary information to formulate a comprehensive response plan, whether it involves cross-training, hiring, or resequencing activities, rather than jumping to a solution without understanding the problem's full scope. You can't fix what you don't fully understand. Question 31. A project manager is initiating a new project in an organization that has historically struggled with project success. The organizational culture is siloed, and there is a lack of clear ownership for cross-departmental tasks. What should the project manager prioritize during the initiation phase? A. Focus on developing a highly detailed project schedule to ensure predictability. B. Establish clear roles and responsibilities, emphasizing collaboration and interdepartmental dependencies. C. Immediately identify potential risks and develop robust mitigation strategies. D. Secure additional budget contingency to account for anticipated delays and inefficiencies. Answer: B. Establish clear roles and responsibilities, emphasizing collaboration and interdepartmental dependencies. In an organization with a siloed culture and unclear ownership, a new project manager must prioritize establishing clear roles and responsibilities from the outset. This foundational step addresses the root cause of past struggles by defining who is accountable for what, especially for tasks that span multiple departments. Emphasizing collaboration and explicitly mapping interdepartmental dependencies helps break down silos and fosters a shared sense of ownership, which is crucial for project success in such an environment. Clear accountability sets the stage for effective execution. Question 32. During project execution, a supplier informs the project manager that there will be a significant delay in delivering a critical component due to unforeseen manufacturing issues. This delay will directly impact the project's critical path. What should the project manager do first? A. Notify the project sponsor and key stakeholders about the impending delay. B. Update the project schedule and rebaseline to reflect the new delivery date. C. Explore alternative suppliers or expedited shipping options for the component. D. Invoke the penalty clauses in the supplier's contract. Answer: C. Explore alternative suppliers or expedited shipping options for the component. When a critical component's delivery is delayed and impacts the project's critical path, the project manager's immediate priority is to mitigate the impact on the project schedule. This involves proactively exploring immediate alternative solutions, such as finding another supplier for the component or arranging for expedited shipping from the current supplier if feasible. This proactive problem-solving aims to minimize or prevent the delay before it fully impacts the project, demonstrating a focus on continuous progress and risk mitigation. Always look for a solution before just reporting the problem. Question 33. An Agile project team has identified that their definition of done is not consistently applied across all team members, leading to variability in the quality and completeness of completed work. What should the team do to address this issue? A. The product owner should strictly enforce the definition of done for each user story. B. The Scrum Master should coach the team to collaboratively review and refine their definition of done. C. The team should add an extra testing phase at the end of each sprint to catch inconsistencies. D. The team should eliminate the definition of done to reduce overhead and focus on speed. Answer: B. The Scrum Master should coach the team to collaboratively review and refine their definition of done. The definition of done, DoD, is a shared understanding within an Agile team about what it means for work to be complete. When it's not consistently applied, the Scrum Master, acting as a facilitator and coach, should guide the team to collaboratively review and refine their DoD. This ensures all team members have a shared understanding and commitment to the criteria, promoting consistency in quality and completeness. It's a team's collective agreement, not a set of rules enforced by one person, fostering accountability and continuous improvement. Question 34. A project manager is leading a global project where team members are located in different time zones. The project requires frequent decisions and collaboration. Which communication strategy would be most effective for this scenario? A. Rely primarily on email for all project communications to ensure documentation. B. Schedule all core team meetings during a narrow window that overlaps everyone's working hours, even if inconvenient for some. C. Implement a combination of asynchronous communication tools, e.g., collaboration platforms, shared documents, and focused synchronous meetings for critical discussions. D. Require team members to adjust their working hours significantly to align with a central time zone. Answer: C. Implement a combination of asynchronous communication tools, e.g., collaboration platforms, shared documents, and focused synchronous meetings for critical discussions. For global virtual teams spanning multiple time zones, a blended communication strategy is most effective. Asynchronous tools like collaboration platforms, wikis, and shared documents allow team members to contribute and access information at their convenience, bridging time zone gaps. Synchronous meetings should be reserved for critical discussions, brainstorming, or decision-making, scheduled strategically to minimize inconvenience for all. This hybrid approach ensures both continuous information flow and real-time collaboration when necessary, fostering efficiency and inclusion across geographical boundaries. Question 35. A project is nearing its planned completion, but a key deliverable is still in the testing phase, and multiple defects have been identified, requiring more time than anticipated for resolution. The project manager needs to communicate the status to the sponsor. What performance measurement metric would be most useful in this communication? A. Cost Performance Index, CPI. B. Schedule Performance Index, SPI. C. To Complete Performance Index, TCPI. D. Earned Value, EV. Answer: B. Schedule Performance Index, SPI. The scenario describes a situation where a key deliverable is taking more time than anticipated, directly impacting the project's completion date. The Schedule Performance Index, SPI, is a critical earned value management metric that measures how efficiently the project is progressing relative to its schedule baseline, SPI equals EV/PV. An SPI less than 1.0 indicates that the project is behind schedule. Communicating this metric provides a clear, quantitative measure of schedule performance to the sponsor, highlighting the delay and its magnitude. This helps in discussing potential corrective actions related to the timeline. Question 36. A project manager is facilitating a retrospective at the end of an Agile iteration. The team expresses frustration that external dependencies often cause unexpected blockers, despite their best efforts to plan. What is the most constructive approach for the project manager? A. Instruct the team to better anticipate dependencies in future planning sessions. B. Work with the team to identify specific external dependencies and proactively engage relevant stakeholders to manage them. C. Document the external dependencies as risks and add them to the risk register. D. Advise the team to reduce their sprint commitments to account for potential external blockers. Answer: B. Work with the team to identify specific external dependencies and proactively engage relevant stakeholders to manage them. When an Agile team is frustrated by external dependencies, the project manager's role is to help them proactively manage these outside influences. This involves working with the team to identify the specific external dependencies that cause issues and then actively engaging the relevant external stakeholders. Proactive engagement might include establishing communication protocols, clarifying expectations, or scheduling regular check-ins to ensure those external parties deliver what's needed when it's needed. This helps the team maintain flow and minimizes disruptions, rather than just documenting or accepting delays. Question 37. During the execution of a project, the project manager receives an email from a disgruntled stakeholder expressing strong opposition to a proposed design change, threatening to escalate the issue if their concerns are not addressed immediately. What should the project manager do? A. Ignore the email, as it is an emotional response and not a formal communication. B. Engage with the stakeholder directly and promptly to understand their concerns and seek a collaborative solution. C. Forward the email to the project sponsor and ask them to intervene. D. Proceed with the design change as planned, as the stakeholder's opposition is based on emotion. Answer: B. Engage with the stakeholder directly and promptly to understand their concerns and seek a collaborative solution. When a disgruntled stakeholder expresses strong opposition and threatens escalation, a project manager should prioritize prompt and direct engagement. Ignoring or escalating immediately can worsen the situation. By engaging directly, the project manager can listen actively, understand the stakeholder's specific concerns, and demonstrate empathy. This personal approach opens the door for a collaborative discussion to find a solution that addresses their issues, potentially diffusing the tension and preventing formal escalation. Effective stakeholder management often means addressing concerns head-on and proactively. Question 38. A project manager has just completed the project closeout activities. Which of the following is the most critical final step to ensure proper project governance and organizational learning? A. Release the project team members to their next assignments. B. Archive all project documentation in the organizational process assets library. C. Obtain formal sign-off from all stakeholders on the project completion. D. Conduct a final project performance review with the sponsor. Answer: B. Archive all project documentation in the organizational process assets library. Archiving all project documentation, including lessons learned, reports, and final deliverables, into the organizational process assets, OPAs, library is the most critical final step for project governance and organizational learning. This ensures that valuable knowledge and historical information are preserved and made available for future projects, contributing to continuous improvement within the organization. While releasing the team and obtaining sign-off are important, archiving OPAs is specifically about long-term organizational benefit and knowledge management. Question 39. A project manager is overseeing a project with multiple interconnected deliverables. During status meetings, the team frequently reports that they are waiting on inputs from other team members, leading to bottlenecks and delays. What technique should the project manager use to identify and manage these dependencies more effectively? A. Create a detailed Gantt chart showing individual task assignments. B. Implement a Kanban board to visualize workflow and identify bottlenecks. C. Conduct a critical path analysis to identify the longest sequence of activities. D. Hold daily stand-up meetings to discuss individual progress. Answer: B. Implement a Kanban board to visualize workflow and identify bottlenecks. When a project team frequently reports waiting on inputs from others and experiencing bottlenecks, visualizing the workflow is key to identifying and managing these dependencies. A Kanban board provides a visual representation of work in progress, allowing the team and project manager to see where work is queuing up, identify interdependencies, and pinpoint bottlenecks. This transparency helps the team collaboratively address constraints and improve flow, making it easier to manage the handoffs between interconnected tasks and team members. Seeing the workflow visually helps the team manage their own dependencies. Question 40. A project manager is leading a project involving significant changes to business processes. The project has entered the execution phase, and some end users are openly resistant to the changes, leading to low adoption rates and potential project failure. What should the project manager prioritize? A. Inform the project sponsor about the resistance and ask for their intervention to mandate adoption. B. Revisit the stakeholder engagement plan to identify the root causes of resistance and develop targeted communication and training strategies. C. Focus solely on completing the technical implementation, assuming users will adapt over time. D. Document the resistance as a risk and develop a contingency plan for low adoption. Answer: B. Revisit the stakeholder engagement plan to identify the root causes of resistance and develop targeted communication and training strategies. When end-user resistance threatens project success, the project manager must proactively address the human element of change. Revisiting the stakeholder engagement plan is crucial to understand the underlying reasons for resistance, e.g., lack of understanding, perceived loss of control, insufficient training. Based on this understanding, the project manager can then develop targeted communication strategies to address concerns and provide effective training to build confidence and skills, ultimately fostering adoption and reducing resistance. Successful projects often require managing the human side of change as much as the technical. Question 41. The project sponsor is pushing for a highly aggressive schedule for a new product launch, emphasizing the need for speed to market. The project manager, however, is concerned about the potential impact on product quality and team burnout. What should the project manager do? A. Accept the aggressive schedule and instruct the team to prioritize speed over quality. B. Push back on the sponsor, insisting on a more realistic schedule that prioritizes quality. C. Facilitate a discussion with the sponsor to present the risks and trade-offs associated with the aggressive schedule, proposing alternative options. D. Immediately implement fast-tracking techniques to meet the deadline, without further discussion. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with the sponsor to present the risks and trade-offs associated with the aggressive schedule, proposing alternative options. When faced with an aggressive schedule that raises concerns about quality and team well-being, the project manager's role is to act as a trusted advisor to the sponsor. This involves facilitating a transparent discussion where the project manager clearly presents the potential risks, e.g., increased defects, team burnout, rework, and trade-offs, e.g., quality versus speed versus cost, associated with the proposed schedule. Offering alternative options, such as phased releases or scope adjustments, allows the sponsor to make an informed, strategic decision based on a full understanding of the implications. It's about providing options, not making demands. Question 42. A project team is in the process of defining the scope for a complex product. They are using an agile approach and frequently get new insights from stakeholders, leading to changes in understanding of what is needed. What approach should the team take regarding scope definition? A. Create a very detailed, fixed scope statement at the beginning to avoid any changes. B. Focus on a high-level vision and continuously refine the product backlog based on feedback and learning. C. Document all potential features up front and allow stakeholders to select from them. D. Only define scope for the current sprint and ignore future requirements. Answer. B. Focus on a high-level vision and continuously refine the product backlog based on feedback and learning. In an agile environment, scope is progressively elaborated rather than fixed up front. The team should focus on establishing a high-level vision for the product and then continuously refine the product backlog based on ongoing feedback from stakeholders, market changes, and new insights gained during development. This iterative and adaptive approach allows the project to deliver the most valuable features as understanding evolves, embracing change rather than resisting it. Agile projects thrive on flexible scope that prioritizes value delivery. Question 43. During a project team meeting, two key team members repeatedly engage in heated arguments, disrupting discussions and negatively affecting team morale. The project manager has tried informal mediation, but it has not resolved the conflict. What should the project manager do next? A. Ignore the conflict, hoping it will resolve itself over time. B. Remove both team members from the project to restore harmony. C. Schedule a formal mediation session with a neutral third party, focusing on understanding root causes and finding common ground. D. Report the issue to their functional managers and let them handle it. Answer. C. Schedule a formal mediation session with a neutral third party, focusing on understanding root causes and finding common ground. When informal mediation fails to resolve persistent, disruptive conflicts between key team members, a more structured approach is necessary. Scheduling a formal mediation session, possibly involving a neutral third party, allows for a structured discussion aimed at identifying the root causes of the conflict, understanding each party's perspective, and facilitating a collaborative path towards resolution. This approach actively addresses the issue, aims to preserve the team members, and prevents the conflict from further harming team morale and productivity. Addressing conflict directly and constructively is a hallmark of effective leadership. Question 44. A project manager is leading a project that relies heavily on a complex software system developed by an external vendor. During testing, it's discovered that the system has numerous performance issues, significantly slower than expected. This impacts the project's usability goals. What should the project manager do first? A. Document the performance issues and immediately terminate the contract with the vendor. B. Communicate the performance issues to the vendor, provide clear evidence, and demand a corrective action plan. C. Re-evaluate the project's usability goals to align with the software's current performance. D. Advise the project sponsor that the project is likely to fail due to vendor performance. Answer. B. Communicate the performance issues to the vendor, provide clear evidence, and demand a corrective action plan. When an external vendor's deliverable exhibits significant performance issues that impact project goals, the project manager's first priority is to engage the vendor proactively to rectify the situation. Communicating the specific issues with clear evidence and requesting a formal corrective action plan puts the onus on the vendor to resolve the problem according to their contractual obligations. This step aims to leverage the existing contractual relationship to fix the issue, rather than immediately resorting to drastic measures or giving up on project goals. Always address issues directly with the responsible party first. Question 45. A project manager identifies that a recently hired team member lacks a critical skill required for an upcoming task on the critical path. The project is already behind schedule. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager? A. Reassign the task to another, more experienced team member, even if it overloads them. B. Provide immediate, targeted training or coaching to the new team member for the specific skill needed. C. Document the skill gap as a risk and update the risk register. D. Advise the sponsor that the critical path task will be delayed due to the skill gap. Answer: B. Provide immediate, targeted training or coaching to the new team member for the specific skill needed. When a new team member has a critical skill gap for a task on the critical path, the most appropriate proactive action is to address the gap directly and quickly. Providing immediate, targeted training or coaching allows the team member to acquire the necessary skill, enabling them to perform the task and minimizing potential delays. This approach invests in the team member's development, strengthens the team's capabilities, and helps keep the project on track, rather than simply moving the problem elsewhere or accepting a delay. Empowering your team to succeed is key. Question 46. During the retrospective, an Agile team identifies that they are frequently interrupted by urgent requests from different stakeholders, which makes it difficult to maintain focus and meet sprint goals. What is the most effective solution the team should explore with the product owner and Scrum Master? A. Create a bug-fixing sprint to handle all urgent requests outside of planned work. B. Implement stricter control over who can submit requests and route them all through the product owner. C. Define a clear intake process for urgent requests, involving the product owner for prioritization and impact assessment with the team. D. Increase the buffer time in future sprints to account for unexpected urgent work. Answer: C. Define a clear intake process for urgent requests, involving the product owner for prioritization and impact assessment with the team. When an Agile team is frequently interrupted by urgent stakeholder requests, the most effective solution is to establish a clear and controlled intake process. This involves routing all requests through the product owner, who can then prioritize them against existing backlog items and assess their impact with the development team. This structured approach ensures that urgent requests are properly evaluated for their value and feasibility, preventing uncontrolled scope creep and allowing the team to maintain focus on their sprint goals. It's about managing flow and protecting the team's focus. Question 47. A project manager is leading a project that requires close collaboration with an external regulatory body for approvals. The regulatory body has a reputation for being slow and bureaucratic, potentially causing significant delays. What is the best proactive strategy for the project manager to manage this external dependency? A. Assume delays will occur and add substantial buffer time to the schedule for all regulatory approvals. B. Initiate engagement with the regulatory body early in the project, establishing clear communication channels and understanding their processes. C. Delegate all interactions with the regulatory body to the legal department. D. Try to find alternative solutions that bypass the need for regulatory approval. Answer: B. Initiate engagement with the regulatory body early in the project, establishing clear communication channels and understanding their processes. When dealing with a potentially slow and bureaucratic external regulatory body, proactive engagement is crucial. The best strategy is to initiate contact early in the project lifecycle, well before approvals are critically needed. Establishing clear communication channels and thoroughly understanding their specific processes, documentation requirements, and typical timelines can help the project manager anticipate potential bottlenecks and proactively address them, minimizing delays. Early engagement builds relationships and provides valuable insights that can streamline the approval process. Question 48. A project manager observes that a project team member consistently misses deadlines and produces work that requires significant rework. The team member seems disengaged and avoids team collaboration. What is the most appropriate initial action for the project manager to take? A. Immediately remove the team member from the project. B. Document the performance issues and escalate them to human resources. C. Schedule a private one-on-one meeting with the team member to understand the root causes of their performance issues and offer support. D. Assign the team member only non-critical tasks to minimize impact. Answer: C. Schedule a private one-on-one meeting with the team member to understand the root causes of their performance issues and offer support. When a team member exhibits poor performance, disengagement, and avoids collaboration, the project manager's initial and most appropriate action is to address the issue directly and privately with the individual. A one-on-one meeting allows for a safe space to understand the underlying root causes of the performance issues, which could range from lack of clarity, skill gaps, personal issues, or workload. Offering support and coaching demonstrates servant leadership and provides an opportunity to resolve the problem constructively before resorting to more drastic measures. Focus on understanding and helping first. Question 49. The project team has successfully completed the software development and user acceptance testing. The product is ready for deployment. What is a key step the project manager must ensure before the project is formally closed? A. Announce the success of the project to all stakeholders. B. Ensure all deliverables are formally handed over to the operations or functional teams. C. Begin planning the next phase or iteration of the product. D. Collect all outstanding payments from the customer. Answer: B. Ensure all deliverables are formally handed over to the operations or functional teams. Before a project can be formally closed, it is critical to ensure that all project deliverables are formally handed over to the appropriate operations or functional teams. This handover includes not just the product itself, but also documentation, training materials, and support processes. A proper handover ensures that the product can be maintained, supported, and utilized effectively after the project team disbands, transitioning the project's output into ongoing organizational value. A smooth transition ensures the project's long-term success. Question 50. A project manager is leading an Agile project where the team frequently estimates user stories. A new team member joins, and their estimates are consistently much higher or lower than the rest of the experienced team. What should the project manager do to help the new team member align their estimates? A. Instruct the new team member to follow the estimates provided by more experienced team members. B. Pair the new team member with an experienced team member for future estimation sessions and during task execution. C. Reduce the new team member's estimating responsibilities until they gain more experience. D. Conduct a formal training session for the entire team on estimation techniques. Answer: B. Pair the new team member with an experienced team member for future estimation sessions and during task execution. When a new Agile team member's estimates are inconsistent, the most effective way to help them align is through practical experience and mentorship. Pairing the new team member with an experienced colleague during estimation sessions allows for direct learning and observation of how the team collectively arrives at estimates. Furthermore, working together on tasks helps the new member gain a realistic understanding of effort, complexity, and dependencies, which directly improves their future estimating accuracy. Hands-on learning and mentorship are powerful tools for skill development. Question 51. A project manager is reviewing the project's risk register during execution. A new, unforeseen external economic factor emerges that could significantly impact the project's funding and market viability. What action should the project manager take first? A. Ignore the factor, as it is outside the project's direct control. B. Immediately escalate the issue to the project sponsor and ask for a decision. C. Analyze the potential impact of the economic factor on the project's objectives and update the risk register. D. Cut project scope to reduce costs in anticipation of funding issues. Answer: C. Analyze the potential impact of the economic factor on the project's objectives and update the risk register. When a new, unforeseen external factor with potential significant impact emerges, the project manager's first step is to thoroughly analyze its potential implications. This involves assessing how the economic factor could affect the project's objectives, scope, schedule, budget, and resources. Once this analysis is complete, the risk register should be updated to reflect this new information, including potential probability and impact. This analytical approach provides the necessary data to make informed decisions and communicate effectively with stakeholders, rather than reacting prematurely or escalating without understanding. Question 52. A project manager needs to communicate complex technical details to a diverse group of stakeholders, some of whom have limited technical knowledge. What is the most effective communication approach? A. Use highly technical jargon to demonstrate expertise and precision. B. Provide a detailed written report with all technical specifications. C. Use visual aids, analogies, and focus on the impact and implications rather than just raw technical details. D. Schedule a series of one-on-one meetings to explain technical concepts individually. Answer: C. Use visual aids, analogies, and focus on the impact and implications rather than just raw technical details. When communicating complex technical details to a diverse audience with varying technical knowledge, simplifying the message and focusing on relevance is key. Using visual aids, like diagrams or flowcharts, helps non-technical stakeholders grasp complex concepts. Analogies can relate technical ideas to something familiar, and focusing on the "what's in it for them" or "what does this mean for the business" impact and implications, ensures the information is meaningful and understandable. This approach ensures effective communication across different comprehension levels, preventing misunderstandings. Tailor your message to your audience. Question 53. A project manager is managing a project using a predictive approach. The project budget is set at $500,000, and it is planned to last 10 months. After 5 months, the project has spent $300,000, and 40% of the work has been completed. What is the cost performance of the project? A. The project is under budget. B. The project is over budget. C. The project is on budget. D. Not enough information to determine. Answer: B. The project is over budget. To determine the cost performance, we need to compare the earned value, EV, with the actual cost, AC. The total budget is $500,000 over 10 months, so the planned value, PV, for 5 months would be $500,000 / 10 times 5 is equal to $250,000. The project has completed 40% of the work, so the earned value, EV, is 40% of the total budget, 0.40 * $500,000 equals $200,000. The actual cost, AC, is given as $300,000. Since EV, $200,000, is less than AC, $300,000, the project has earned less value for the money spent, indicating it is over budget. Note: no explicit calculation shown in explanation as per instructions, but the reasoning leads to the correct performance status. Question 54. The project manager needs to ensure that the project deliverables meet the required quality standards. During the planning phase, what is the most important output that helps establish these standards? A. The work breakdown structure, WBS. B. The scope baseline. C. The quality management plan. D. The risk management plan. Answer: C. The quality management plan. During the planning phase, the quality management plan is the most important output for ensuring project deliverables meet required quality standards. This plan describes how the project management team will implement the organization's quality policy, defining the quality standards applicable to the project and how they will be achieved, verified, and controlled. It outlines the processes and procedures for quality control and quality assurance, thereby providing the framework for maintaining the desired level of quality throughout the project lifecycle. It is your blueprint for achieving quality. Question 55. An Agile team consistently struggles to deliver the full scope they commit to at the beginning of each sprint. The product owner is frustrated, and stakeholders are losing confidence. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master, or project manager in a hybrid role, to take? A. Encourage the team to commit to more stories to challenge themselves. B. Coach the team on refining their estimation techniques and understanding their true velocity. C. Ask the product owner to reduce the complexity of all future user stories. D. Instruct the team to work overtime to meet sprint commitments. Answer: B. Coach the team on refining their estimation techniques and understanding their true velocity. When an Agile team consistently fails to meet sprint commitments, it often indicates an issue with their ability to accurately estimate work and understand their capacity. The Scrum Master or Project Manager should coach the team on refining their estimation techniques, e.g., using relative sizing like story points, planning poker, and help them track and understand their historical velocity. This allows the team to make more realistic commitments in future sprints, leading to more predictable delivery and rebuilding stakeholder confidence. Understanding your team's real capacity is crucial for effective Agile planning. Question 56. A project manager is leading a project nearing completion. A final audit reveals that some project closure activities, such as updating organizational process assets and archiving documentation, were not thoroughly completed due to time pressure. What should the project manager do? A. Formally close the project and delegate the remaining closure activities to the functional managers. B. Document the incomplete activities in the final project report and move on to the next project. C. Allocate additional time and resources to complete all remaining project closure activities diligently. D. Obtain final acceptance from the customer and then immediately release the team. Answer: C. Allocate additional time and resources to complete all remaining project closure activities diligently. Project closure activities, including updating organizational process assets and archiving documentation, are crucial for organizational learning and proper project governance. Even under time pressure, the project manager has a responsibility to ensure these activities are completed diligently. Allocating additional time and resources demonstrates a commitment to organizational maturity and ensures that valuable lessons and project data are properly preserved for future use, preventing the repetition of mistakes and contributing to long-term success. Don't rush the finish line, ensure all ends are properly tied. Question 57. During the execution of a project, the project manager notices that the team's morale is declining due to excessive workload and frequent scope changes. This is leading to decreased productivity. What is the best action for the project manager to take? A. Implement stricter deadlines to motivate the team to work faster. B. Communicate the team's concerns to the project sponsor and negotiate for additional resources or scope adjustments. C. Encourage team members to work overtime to catch up on the workload. D. Ignore the morale issues and focus on completing tasks as quickly as possible. Answer: B. Communicate the team's concerns to the project sponsor and negotiate for additional resources or scope adjustments. When a project team's morale declines due to excessive workload and scope changes, it's a clear sign of an unsustainable pace that will ultimately impact project success. The project manager's best action is to act as an advocate for the team. This involves clearly communicating the team's concerns and the potential impact on project outcomes to the project sponsor, then negotiating for necessary adjustments such as additional resources, a more realistic schedule, or scope reductions. Protecting the team's well-being is vital for long-term productivity and project success. Question 58. A project manager is managing a complex, multi-phase project. As one phase concludes, new risks are identified for the upcoming phase that were not apparent earlier. What does this situation best exemplify? A. Risk avoidance. B. Residual risk. C. Progressive elaboration. D. Secondary risk. Answer: C. Progressive elaboration. This situation best exemplifies progressive elaboration. Progressive elaboration is the iterative process of increasing the level of detail in a project management plan as more information becomes available. In complex, multi-phase projects, it's common for new risks, requirements, or details to become apparent only as the project moves from a high-level concept into more detailed planning and execution of later phases. This approach acknowledges that not all information is known up front and allows for continuous refinement of plans as understanding deepens. Question 59. The project team is struggling with frequent design changes during the development phase, impacting the schedule. The changes often come directly from various stakeholders, bypassing the formal change control process. What should the project manager do to manage this situation? A. Refuse to implement any changes not formally submitted through the change control board. B. Educate stakeholders on the change control process and enforce its use for all design changes. C. Absorb the changes into the project and update the schedule accordingly without discussion. D. Immediately escalate every unapproved change request to the project sponsor for resolution. Answer: B. Educate stakeholders on the change control process and enforce its use for all design changes. When frequent, informal design changes disrupt the project manager must re-establish control and adherence to governance. The most effective approach is to proactively educate all relevant stakeholders about the established change control process, explaining its purpose, to manage scope, schedule, and cost impacts, and the proper steps for submitting changes. Simultaneously, the project manager must consistently enforce its use, ensuring that all proposed changes are documented, reviewed, and approved before implementation. This systematic approach ensures controlled integration of changes and maintains project stability. Question 60. A project manager has just been assigned to a project that is already underway. The project status reports indicate green for cost and schedule, but the team seems stressed, and there's a rumor of high turnover. What is the project manager's best first step? A. Continue monitoring the green status and trust the existing reports. B. Demand updated, more frequent status reports from the team. C. Conduct one-on-one meetings with team members to understand the underlying issues affecting morale and turnover. D. Immediately implement new productivity tracking software. Answer: C. Conduct one-on-one meetings with team members to understand the underlying issues affecting morale and turnover. When quantitative reports, green status, conflict with qualitative observations, stress team, high turnover rumors, the project manager's best first step is to investigate the qualitative aspects directly. Conducting one-on-one meetings with team members allows the project manager to build rapport, gain trust, and understand the true underlying issues contributing to low morale and potential turnover, which may not be visible in standard metrics. This proactive approach to addressing human factors is crucial for long-term project health and success, even when numbers look good. Trust your intuition and investigate beyond the data. Question 61. A project is using an Agile approach. During the daily stand-up, a team member mentions a recurring technical issue that is slowing down their progress but has not been formally added to the impediment list. What should the Scrum Master, or project manager in a hybrid role, do? A. Ask the team member to add it to the impediment list for the product owner to prioritize. B. Immediately take action to resolve the technical issue for the team member. C. Facilitate a brief discussion to understand the issue's impact and coach the team member on how to address or escalate it. D. Instruct the team member to spend time researching a solution themselves outside of sprint work. Answer: C. Facilitate a brief discussion to understand the issue's impact and coach the team member on how to address or escalate it. In an Agile daily stand-up, when a recurring technical issue is mentioned, the Scrum Master, or project manager, should not just passively record it or immediately solve it. Instead, they should facilitate a brief discussion to understand its impact on the sprint goal and empower the team member. This involves coaching them on how to effectively address the issue themselves or properly escalate it within the team's processes, e.g., adding it to the impediment list, seeking help from a peer. This fosters self-organization and problem-solving within the team, aligning with Agile principles. Question 62. A project manager is struggling to get timely decisions from a key stakeholder who is critical for project progress. This stakeholder is senior in the organization and has a very demanding schedule. What is the most effective approach for the project manager? A. Continually send reminders and follow-up emails until a decision is made. B. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor to pressure the stakeholder. C. Schedule short, focused meetings, provide clear, concise information, and articulate the impact of delayed decisions. D. Make the decisions on behalf of the stakeholder to avoid delays. Answer: C. Schedule short, focused meetings, provide clear, concise information, and articulate the impact of delayed decisions. When dealing with a busy, senior stakeholder whose timely decisions are critical, the project manager needs to optimize communication for efficiency and clarity. Scheduling short, focused meetings demonstrates respect for their time. Providing clear, concise information, ideally pre-read materials, helps them quickly grasp the issue. Crucially, articulating the direct impact of delayed decisions on the project's schedule, cost, or scope creates urgency and encourages prompt action. This strategic approach respects their schedule while ensuring the project receives the necessary guidance. Question 63. During project execution, a change request is submitted that would significantly enhance the product's value but would also require a substantial increase in budget and timeline. The project's original contract with the client has fixed price and fixed delivery date. What is the project manager's best course of action? A. Reject the change request outright due to the fixed contract terms. B. Implement the change, anticipating that the client will accept the additional costs and time. C. Analyze the full impact of the change, present it to the client, and negotiate new contract terms if they wish to proceed. D. Suggest that the client defer the enhancement to a separate project after the current one is completed. Answer: C. Analyze the full impact of the change, present it to the client, and negotiate new contract terms if they wish to proceed. When a significant change request comes in under a fixed price, fixed date contract, the project manager cannot simply reject it or assume client acceptance. The best course of action is to thoroughly analyze the full impact of the change on all aspects of the project: scope, schedule, cost, quality, risk. This detailed impact analysis should then be presented to the client, clearly outlining the benefits and the necessary adjustments to the contract terms. This professional approach allows for negotiation, ensuring that any deviation from the original agreement is mutually understood and formally approved, protecting both parties. Question 64. A project manager is conducting a qualitative risk analysis. Which of the following is a primary output of this process? A. Quantitative risk analysis report. B. Prioritized list of project risks. C. Risk response strategies. D. Contingency reserves. Answer: B. Prioritized list of project risks. Qualitative risk analysis is the process of prioritizing individual project risks for further analysis or action by assessing their probability of occurrence and impact. Its primary output is a prioritized list of project risks, often categorized by their overall risk rating, e.g., high, medium, low. This prioritization allows the project manager to focus resources on the most critical risks, ensuring that risk response planning is targeted and efficient. It helps in deciding which risks need immediate attention versus those that can be simply monitored. Question 65. The project manager identifies a potential risk that, if it occurs, would have a catastrophic impact on the project, but its probability is very low. The project has a limited budget for risk response. What is the most appropriate risk response strategy in this scenario? A. Avoidance. B. Mitigation. C. Acceptance, passive. D. Transference. Answer: C. Acceptance, passive. When a risk has a catastrophic impact but a very low probability, and the project has a limited budget for risk response, passive acceptance is often the most appropriate strategy. This means deciding not to take any proactive action to deal with the risk, beyond perhaps establishing a small contingency reserve. Attempting to avoid or mitigate a low probability, high-impact risk can be disproportionately expensive or impossible, especially with budget constraints. Passive acceptance acknowledges the risk but focuses resources elsewhere, monitoring it should its probability increase. Question 66. An Agile project team has delivered a release to the customer, but several minor defects are reported by end users shortly after deployment. The team needs to address these without disrupting planned sprint work for the next iteration. What is the best approach? A. Add all reported defects to the product backlog and prioritize them like any other user story. B. Create a dedicated bug fix team to address all defects immediately. C. Allocate a small, fixed portion of each sprint's capacity to address high-priority defects. D. Instruct the customer to wait for the next major release for bug fixes. Answer: C. Allocate a small, fixed portion of each sprint's capacity to address high-priority defects. When minor defects are reported after a release, the best Agile approach is to address them systematically without completely derailing ongoing sprint work. Allocating a small, fixed portion of each sprint's capacity, e.g., 10 to 20% of team capacity, to address high-priority defects allows the team to continuously resolve issues while still delivering new features. This keeps the product stable and ensures customer satisfaction without creating separate work streams or ignoring the issues, maintaining a sustainable pace of development. Question 67. A project manager is updating the project management plan. Which document provides the detailed steps and methods for executing, monitoring, and closing the project work? A. Project Charter. B. Scope Baseline. C. Project Management Plan. D. Business Case. Answer: C. Project Management Plan. The Project Management Plan is the comprehensive document that describes how the project will be executed, monitored and controlled, and closed. It integrates and consolidates all subsidiary management plans, e.g., scope, schedule, cost, quality, risk, communications, and baselines, providing detailed steps, methodologies, and processes. It serves as the single source of truth for how the project will be managed from start to finish, guiding the project team and ensuring consistency in project execution. Question 68. The project manager identifies that a critical stakeholder consistently provides conflicting requirements and delays feedback, which causes rework and slows down the project. What should the project manager do? A. Minimize engagement with this stakeholder to avoid conflicts and delays. B. Document the stakeholder's behavior and report it to the project sponsor. C. Schedule a dedicated meeting with the stakeholder to clarify expectations, establish a clear communication plan, and agree on a decision-making process. D. Implement a formal change request process for every piece of feedback from this stakeholder. Answer: C. Schedule a dedicated meeting with the stakeholder to clarify expectations, establish a clear communication plan, and agree on a decision-making process. When a critical stakeholder provides conflicting requirements and delays feedback, the most effective approach is to proactively engage them to address the root causes. Scheduling a dedicated meeting allows the project manager to have a direct conversation, clarify expectations regarding requirements, establish a clear and mutually agreed-upon communication plan, e.g., preferred channels, response times, and define a structured decision-making process. This proactive alignment helps improve collaboration, reduces rework, and ensures smoother project progress. Clear communication and agreed-upon processes are key to managing challenging stakeholders. Question 69. A project manager is conducting risk response planning. A high-impact, high-probability risk is identified related to a critical technology component failing. The team has limited internal expertise in this technology. What is the most appropriate risk response strategy? A. Accept the risk. B. Avoid the risk by changing the project scope. C. Mitigate the risk by building redundancy or developing a contingency plan, and potentially transfer a portion of it via insurance. D. transfer the risk entirely by outsourcing the component development. Answer: C. Mitigate the risk by building redundancy or developing a contingency plan, and potentially transfer a portion of it via insurance. For a high-impact, high-probability risk where internal expertise is limited, a multi-pronged approach combining mitigation and potential transference is often most appropriate. Mitigation involves reducing the probability or impact of the risk, such as by building redundancy, e.g., backup systems, developing a detailed contingency plan, or cross-training existing staff. Simultaneously, exploring transference, such as through insurance or warranties from a vendor, shifts some financial responsibility to a third party. This comprehensive approach directly addresses the severity of the risk and leverages external means where internal capabilities are insufficient. Question 70. A project manager is overseeing a project where the team is co-located. The team members frequently engage in informal side conversations during formal meetings, which distracts others and prolongs the meeting duration. What should the project manager do to improve meeting efficiency? A. Ban all informal conversations during meetings. B. Implement a parking lot for off-topic discussions and enforce time limits for agenda items. C. Reduce the number of team meetings to minimize opportunities for side conversations. D. Focus solely on the agenda, ignoring any informal conversations. Answer: B. Implement a parking lot for off-topic discussions and enforce time limits for agenda items. When informal side conversations disrupt meetings, the project manager should implement strategies that maintain focus without stifling team interaction entirely. Implementing a parking lot allows off-topic but potentially valuable discussions to be acknowledged and captured for later review, ensuring that they don't derail the current agenda. Simultaneously, enforcing time limits for each agenda item helps keep discussions concise and on track, promoting efficiency and respecting everyone's time. This balanced approach encourages structured participation while managing distractions. Question 71. A project manager is reviewing the project performance against the baseline. The current estimate at completion, EAC, calculation suggests the project will significantly exceed its budget. What should the project manager's primary focus be at this point? A. Immediately inform the sponsor that the project is over budget. B. Update the budget baseline to reflect the new EAC. C. Analyze the root causes of the cost variances and identify corrective or preventive actions. D. Request additional funding from the project sponsor. Answer: C. Analyze the root causes of the cost variances and identify corrective or preventive actions. When the EAC calculation indicates a significant budget overrun, merely reporting the issue or asking for more funds is insufficient. The project manager's primary focus must be on understanding why the project is exceeding its budget. This involves a thorough analysis of the root causes of the cost variances. Once the root causes are identified, the project manager can then develop and implement effective corrective actions to bring the project back within an acceptable range or preventive actions to stop future issues, demonstrating proactive cost control. Diagnosis before prescription is key. Question 72. An Agile project team decides to incorporate continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD, practices. This requires investment in new tools and changes to their current development workflow. What impact will this likely have on the project? A. Increase technical debt due to rapid deployment. B. Reduce the frequency of feedback loops from stakeholders. C. Improve software quality and accelerate delivery of value. D. Increase the risk of defects due to automated testing. Answer: C. Improve software quality and accelerate delivery of value. Incorporating CI/CD practices in an Agile project aims to automate and streamline the software development lifecycle. Continuous integration, CI, means frequently merging code changes into a central repository and running automated builds and tests, which helps detect and fix integration errors early, improving quality. Continuous delivery, CD, means ensuring software can be released to production at any time, accelerating the delivery of value to users. Together, CI/CD significantly enhances efficiency, reduces manual errors, and provides faster feedback, ultimately improving both quality and speed. Question 73. A project manager is managing a construction project. A critical subcontractor responsible for the foundation work has gone bankrupt. This unexpected event creates a major risk to the project's schedule and budget. What is the most immediate action the project manager should take? A. Notify the project sponsor about the bankruptcy and its implications. B. Activate the contingency plan related to subcontractor failure, if one exists. C. Immediately begin searching for a new subcontractor. D. File a legal claim against the bankrupt subcontractor. Answer: B. Activate the contingency plan related to subcontractor failure, if one exists. When a major, unforeseen event like a critical subcontractor bankruptcy occurs, the most immediate and effective action for the project manager is to activate any pre-planned contingency responses. A well-prepared risk management plan would include contingency plans for such high-impact risks, outlining steps to mitigate the impact, e.g., backup suppliers, internal resources, expedited procurement. Activating this plan allows for a structured and rapid response, minimizing the disruption to the project schedule and budget. If no specific plan exists, then searching for a new subcontractor would be the next step after assessing the immediate impact. Question 74. A project manager is leading a cross-functional project. During execution, it becomes clear that resource availability from one functional department is consistently lower than planned, impacting multiple project tasks. What is the most appropriate action? A. Document the resource deficiency and adjust the project schedule to reflect the delay. B. Escalate the issue to the functional manager, requesting a resolution and emphasizing the project's priorities. C. Reprimand the project team for not managing their tasks efficiently given the available resources. D. Hire temporary contractors to fill the resource gap without consulting the functional manager. Answer: B. Escalate the issue to the functional manager, requesting a resolution and emphasizing the project's priorities. When a critical resource deficiency from a functional department impacts project tasks, the most appropriate action is to formally escalate the issue to the relevant functional manager. The project manager should clearly articulate the impact of the resource shortage on project objectives and prioritize the project's needs. This engages the functional manager, who has authority over their departmental resources, to find a solution, such as reallocating personnel or prioritizing the project's demands within their department. It's about collaborating with those who control the resources to secure what the project needs. Question 75. The project manager is conducting the plan quality management process. Which of the following is a key tool or technique used to identify factors that might cause a project deviation from the plan or desired results? A. Control charts. B. Flowcharts. C. Cause and effect diagrams, fishbone/Ishikawa diagrams. D. Pareto charts. Answer: C. Cause and effect diagrams, fishbone/Ishikawa diagrams. Cause and effect diagrams, also known as fishbone or Ishikawa diagrams, are a key tool and technique used in quality management planning and analysis. They help in systematically identifying, exploring, and displaying all the possible causes for a specific problem or desired quality outcome. By organizing potential causes into categories, e.g., people, process, equipment, environment, they facilitate a thorough root cause analysis, which is crucial for preventing deviations and ensuring that quality standards are met. This structured approach helps prevent problems before they occur. Question 76. A project manager is working on a complex digital transformation project. The organizational culture values traditional, hierarchical decision-making. The project manager needs to ensure effective stakeholder engagement for a hybrid project. What approach to stakeholder engagement would be most suitable? A. Rely solely on formal, top-down communication channels and reports. B. Adopt a highly collaborative, self-organizing approach, empowering all stakeholders to make decisions. C. Tailor engagement strategies, combining formal communication for key decision-makers with more collaborative approaches for operational stakeholders. D. Focus only on engaging the project sponsor, as they represent the highest authority. Answer: C. Tailor engagement strategies, combining formal communication for key decision-makers with more collaborative approaches for operational stakeholders. In an organization with a traditional, hierarchical culture, a project manager leading a hybrid project, which blends predictive and adaptive elements, must tailor their stakeholder engagement. This means combining formal, top-down communication and structured reporting for senior management and key decision-makers who prefer that style, with more collaborative, iterative approaches, like workshops or sprint reviews, for operational stakeholders and the project team. This flexibility acknowledges the organizational context while still fostering the necessary collaboration for project success. Adapt your style to fit the audience and the context. Question 77. A project manager has just completed a project for an external client. The project met all scope, schedule, and budget targets, and the client is very satisfied with the outcome. What is the final critical step the project manager must take regarding the project resources? A. Conduct performance appraisals for all project team members. B. Formally release project team members and reassign equipment as per organizational procedures. C. Document lessons learned regarding resource management for future projects. D. Host a celebratory dinner for the project team. Answer: B. Formally release project team members and reassign equipment as per organizational procedures. Upon successful project completion and client satisfaction, a critical final step is the formal release of project team members and the reallocation or reassignment of project resources, such as equipment, according to organizational procedures. This ensures that valuable human and material resources are made available for other projects or operational needs, optimizing organizational resource utilization and facilitating a smooth transition for the team members. It's about efficiently closing out resource commitments and ensuring resources are ready for their next assignment. Question 78. During a critical phase of a project, the project manager discovers a security vulnerability in a third-party software component that is integral to the project's final product. This vulnerability could expose sensitive customer data. What should the project manager do immediately? A. Document the vulnerability in the risk register and monitor it. B. Inform the customer about the vulnerability and ask them how to proceed. C. Stop all work on the affected component and seek immediate guidance from security experts and the vendor. D. Proceed with the project, assuming the vendor will release a patch soon. Answer: C. Stop all work on the affected component and seek immediate guidance from security experts and the vendor. When a critical security vulnerability is discovered, especially one that could expose sensitive customer data, the project manager's immediate priority is to prevent harm and seek expert guidance. Stopping work on the affected component halts further exposure or integration of the flawed part. Simultaneously, engaging security experts, internal or external, and the third-party vendor is crucial to understand the full extent of the vulnerability, identify potential solutions, and ensure compliance with data protection regulations. This decisive action prioritizes security and protects the organization and its customers. Question 79. A project manager is establishing performance metrics for a new project. To ensure the metrics are effective and meaningful, what characteristics should they primarily possess? A. They should be easy to calculate and understand. B. They should be numerous to cover all aspects of the project. C. They should be directly linked to the project's strategic objectives and desired outcomes. D. They should only measure the efficiency of the project team. Answer: C. They should be directly linked to the project's strategic objectives and desired outcomes. Effective project performance metrics are those that directly align with and measure progress towards the project's strategic objectives and desired business outcomes. While ease of calculation and understanding are helpful, the primary purpose of metrics is to provide meaningful insights into whether the project is delivering value and achieving its purpose. By linking metrics to objectives, the project manager ensures that efforts are focused on what truly matters to the organization's strategic goals, allowing for informed decision-making and value realization. Question 80. An Agile team is performing a sprint review. A key stakeholder expresses concern that a delivered feature, while functional, does not fully meet the market need and may lead to low adoption. What is the primary purpose of the sprint review in this context? A. To formally approve the completed features and move them to production. B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog as needed. C. To review the team's performance against the sprint goals. D. To discuss and resolve team impediments for the next sprint. Answer: B. To inspect the increment and adapt the product backlog as needed. The primary purpose of a sprint review is to inspect the increment, the potentially shippable product created during the sprint, and gather feedback from stakeholders. This feedback is then used to adapt the product backlog as needed, ensuring that the product evolves to meet changing market needs and stakeholder expectations. The stakeholders' concern about market need directly feeds into this adaptive process, allowing the product owner and team to refine future work to deliver higher value. It's about learning and adjusting based on real-world feedback. Question 81. A project manager discovers that a newly integrated software module is causing significant performance degradation in the existing system. The integration was part of the approved scope, but the negative impact was not foreseen. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately roll back the integration to restore system performance. B. Inform the project sponsor about the performance issues and potential project delay. C. Convene a technical team to thoroughly analyze the root cause of the performance degradation. D. Initiate a change request to remove the new software module from the project scope. Answer: C. Convene a technical team to thoroughly analyze the root cause of the performance degradation. When a newly integrated software module causes unforeseen and significant performance degradation, the project manager's first priority is to understand the problem deeply. Convening a technical team to perform a thorough root cause analysis is crucial. This step ensures that the underlying reasons for the degradation are identified, which is essential before any effective corrective actions can be planned or implemented, such as optimizing the module, reconfiguring the system, or considering a rollback. Understanding the why is always the first step to finding the right solution. Question 82. A project manager needs to estimate the cost of a unique, first-of-its-kind research project. Historical data from similar projects is scarce. What is the most appropriate estimating technique to use in this situation? A. Analogous estimating. B. Parametric estimating. C. Bottom-up estimating. D. Three-point estimating, e.g., PERT. Answer: C. Bottom-up estimating. When historical data is scarce for a unique project, bottom-up estimating is the most appropriate technique. This method involves estimating the cost of individual work packages or activities in detail, then aggregating these granular estimates to arrive at a total project cost. While more time-consuming, it provides a higher level of accuracy for unique projects where historical comparisons are unreliable, as it builds the estimate from the ground up based on known components and efforts. This method reduces uncertainty by breaking the unknown into smaller, more manageable parts. Question 83. The project manager is using a predictive approach. Due to unforeseen external events, several key project resources are now unavailable for a critical period. This will inevitably delay the project. What is the best way for the project manager to communicate this to stakeholders? A. Inform stakeholders that the project will be delayed, but do not provide a specific new end date yet. B. Present the new, delayed project timeline as a fixed outcome, without explanation. C. communicate the impact of the resource unavailability on the project schedule, propose a revised schedule, and outline potential mitigation strategies. D. Tell stakeholders that the project team will work extra hours to absorb the impact. Answer: C. Communicate the impact of the resource unavailability on the project schedule, propose a revised schedule, and outline potential mitigation strategies. When unavoidable external events cause significant project delays, the project manager's responsibility is to communicate transparently and proactively with stakeholders. This involves clearly articulating the impact of the resource unavailability on the project schedule, proposing a revised schedule based on a realistic assessment, and outlining potential mitigation strategies that could lessen the impact. This approach demonstrates control, foresight, and a commitment to keeping stakeholders informed and involved in key project decisions, fostering trust and managing expectations effectively. Always provide context and solutions, not just problems. Question 84. An Agile team finds themselves frequently working on items outside of the sprint backlog, driven by urgent requests from various departments. This leads to them consistently failing to meet their sprint goals. What is the most effective way for the Scrum Master to help the team? A. Protect the team from external interruptions and coach stakeholders on the product owner's role. B. Add all external requests to the sprint backlog and reprioritize daily. C. Ask the team to work overtime to accommodate both sprint work and external requests. D. Implement a strict no outside work policy during sprints. Answer: A. Protect the team from external interruptions and coach stakeholders on the product owner's role. When an Agile team is constantly derailed by urgent external requests, the Scrum Master's role as a servant leader and protector of the team is critical. The most effective action is to shield the team from these interruptions, allowing them to focus on the sprint goal. This often involves coaching stakeholders on the product owner's role as the single point of contact for all new work, ensuring that all requests go through the product owner for proper prioritization and integration into the product backlog, if at all. This maintains the integrity of the sprint and helps the team achieve its commitments. Question 85. A project manager is conducting a procurement audit at the end of a project. What is the primary purpose of this audit? A. To ensure all invoices have been paid to vendors. B. To verify that all procurement contracts have been formally closed. C. To identify successes and failures in the procurement process for future projects. D. To determine if the project stayed within the procurement budget. Answer: C. To identify successes and failures in the procurement process for future projects. A procurement audit, conducted as part of project closure or during a phase, serves a crucial purpose in organizational learning. Its primary aim is to review the procurement process from planning through contract administration to identify what worked well, what didn't, and why. This analysis of successes and failures, including challenges encountered with vendors, contract terms, or management processes, generates valuable lessons learned that can be used to improve future procurement efforts and overall project performance within the organization. It's about continuous process improvement. Question 86. A project manager discovers that a key regulatory compliance requirement was missed during the initial planning phase of a software project. This oversight could lead to significant legal and financial penalties. What should the project manager do immediately? A. Inform the project sponsor about the oversight and its potential consequences. B. Initiate a formal change request to incorporate the missed requirement into the project's scope. C. Temporarily halt the project until a full compliance review can be conducted. D. Consult with legal and compliance experts to understand the full impact and determine the necessary corrective actions. Answer: D. Consult with legal and compliance experts to understand the full impact and determine the necessary corrective actions. When a critical regulatory compliance requirement is missed, the project manager's immediate priority is to understand the full scope of the problem and its legal ramifications. Consulting with legal and compliance experts is crucial to accurately assess the impact of the oversight, determine the severity of potential penalties, and identify the specific actions required to achieve compliance. This expert guidance informs the subsequent steps, such as initiating change requests or adjusting project strategy, ensuring the project aligns with legal obligations. Don't guess, consult the experts when compliance is at stake. Question 87. A project manager is trying to foster a culture of shared ownership and problem solving within a project team that previously operated in a very command and control environment. What Agile principle best supports this objective? A. Focusing on meeting the project schedule. B. Prioritizing comprehensive documentation. C. Empowering self-organizing teams. D. Following a detailed, upfront plan. Answer: C. Empowering self-organizing teams. To foster shared ownership and problem solving, especially when transitioning from a command and control environment, empowering self-organizing teams is a core Agile principle. A self-organizing team determines the best way to accomplish its work, rather than being directed by external forces. This autonomy increases team members' engagement, accountability, and collective problem-solving capabilities, as they feel a greater sense of ownership over their work and decisions. It shifts responsibility from a single leader to the collective, fostering a more proactive and engaged team. Question 88. A project team is nearing the end of a sprint, and a critical user story is blocked by an unexpected dependency on an external team. The team feels stressed about meeting the sprint commitment. What should the project manager, as a servant leader, do? A. Pressure the external team to unblock the dependency immediately. B. Coach the team on how to manage the dependency and facilitate communication with the external team. C. Reassign the blocked user story to the next sprint without further action. D. Inform the product owner that the sprint goal will not be met due to the external dependency. Answer: B. Coach the team on how to manage the dependency and facilitate communication with the external team. When an Agile team faces a blocking external dependency, a servant leader project manager should empower the team to address it, rather than just solving it for them or abandoning the goal. This involves coaching the team on strategies for managing such dependencies and actively facilitating communication with the external team to resolve the blocker. This approach builds the team's capabilities in problem-solving and collaboration, reinforcing their self-organization, while the project manager uses their influence to remove obstacles. Question 89. A project manager is closing out a project. The final project report needs to include a summary of the project's financial performance. Which of the following earned value management, EVM, metrics would be most useful for summarizing the overall cost efficiency of the project? A. Budget at completion, BAC. B. Estimate to complete, ETC. C. Cost Performance Index, CPI. D. Variance at completion, VAC. Answer: C. Cost Performance Index, CPI. For summarizing the overall cost efficiency of a project in a final report, the Cost Performance Index, CPI, is the most useful earned value management metric. CPI indicates the efficiency of the project's budget use, EV/AC. A CPI less than 1.0 means over budget, greater than 1.0 means under budget, and equal to 1.0 means on budget. It provides a concise, direct measure of how well the project has managed its costs relative to the value earned, offering a clear snapshot of financial performance. Question 90. During the middle of a project, the project manager observes that the requirements are frequently changing, leading to scope creep and rework. The project was initially planned using a predictive approach. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Insist on freezing the requirements as per the original baseline. B. Shift to a purely Agile approach to accommodate all changes immediately. C. Implement a more robust change control process and communicate its importance to stakeholders. D. Request an immediate increase in project budget and schedule to absorb all new changes. Answer: C. Implement a more robust change control process and communicate its importance to stakeholders. When a predictive project experiences frequent, uncontrolled changes leading to scope creep, the most appropriate action is to strengthen the established governance mechanisms. Implementing a more robust change control process ensures that all proposed changes are formally reviewed, assessed for their impact on project baselines, and approved before implementation. Crucially, communicating the importance of this process to all stakeholders helps manage their expectations and ensures adherence, thereby bringing stability back to the project and preventing uncontrolled scope growth. Question 91. A project manager is leading a project that involves a diverse set of internal and external stakeholders with varying levels of influence and interest. How should the project manager prioritize engagement efforts with these stakeholders? A. Engage equally with all stakeholders to ensure fairness. B. Prioritize engagement based on their power, interest, influence, or impact on the project. C. Focus primarily on external stakeholders, as they represent the customer. D. Only engage with stakeholders who have a positive impact on the project. Answer: B. Prioritize engagement based on their power, interest, influence, or impact on the project. Effective stakeholder management requires a strategic approach to engagement, especially with diverse groups. The project manager should prioritize engagement efforts based on a stakeholder analysis that considers their power, interest, influence, or impact on the project. High power, high interest stakeholders require close management, while low power, low interest ones might only need monitoring. This targeted approach ensures that communication and engagement resources are efficiently allocated where they will have the most impact on project success, focusing on those who can significantly affect or be affected by the project. Question 92. A project manager is overseeing the development of a complex AI system. The technical team is excited about incorporating cutting-edge, experimental features, but these carry high technical risks and may not be fully stable. The project sponsor prioritizes stability and market readiness. What should the project manager emphasize? A. Allow the team to explore experimental features to foster innovation. B. Prioritize features that align with the sponsor's emphasis on stability and market readiness. C. Facilitate a compromise between the team's innovation and the sponsor's stability goals. D. Add all experimental features to the backlog, marking them as high risk. Answer: B. Prioritize features that align with the sponsor's emphasis on stability and market readiness. In this scenario, the project manager must align the team's technical enthusiasm with the sponsor's strategic priorities. Since the sponsor prioritizes stability and market readiness, the project manager should emphasize and guide the team to prioritize features that directly contribute to these goals, even if it means deferring highly experimental but risky features. The project manager's role is to ensure the project delivers value in line with the established strategic objectives, which in this case are stability and market readiness. Maintaining project alignment with business objectives is paramount. Question 93. During the project planning phase, the project manager identifies that a critical deliverable requires specialized expertise that is not available within the current project team or organization. What is the most appropriate procurement strategy? A. Redesign the deliverable to use only internal expertise. B. Defer the deliverable to a future project. C. Acquire the specialized expertise through external procurement, such as a contract for services. D. Hire new permanent staff with the required expertise immediately. Answer: C. Acquire the specialized expertise through external procurement, such as a contract for services. When critical specialized expertise is needed for a project deliverable and is unavailable internally, the most appropriate procurement strategy is to acquire it externally through a contract for services. This allows the project to access the specific skills required for the deliverable without the long-term commitment of hiring new permanent staff, which might not be justifiable for a single project need. This focused external procurement ensures the project can proceed with the necessary capabilities. Question 94. A project manager is leading a software development project using an agile approach. The team consistently demonstrates high velocity, but the product owner is finding it difficult to get immediate feedback from key business stakeholders on completed features. This delays validation. What is the best way to address this? A. Instruct the team to slow down their development pace until feedback is received. B. Schedule mandatory, dedicated feedback sessions with key stakeholders immediately after each feature completion. C. Coach the product owner on techniques for proactive stakeholder engagement and scheduling their availability. D. Reduce the scope of future features to minimize the need for external feedback. Answer: C. Coach the product owner on techniques for proactive stakeholder engagement and scheduling their availability. When an agile team has high velocity but struggles with getting timely stakeholder feedback, the issue often lies in stakeholder engagement, not team performance. The project manager should coach the product owner, who is responsible for maximizing value and interacting with stakeholders, on proactive engagement techniques. This includes strategies for scheduling stakeholders' time, making feedback sessions efficient, or finding alternative ways to gather input, e.g., demos to smaller groups. Empowering the product owner to bridge this gap ensures faster validation and continuous value delivery. Question 95. A project manager is developing the project schedule. The duration estimates for several activities have a high degree of uncertainty. What scheduling technique can best account for this uncertainty by providing a range of possible completion dates? A. Critical Path Method, CPM. B. Critical Chain Method, CCM. C. Monte Carlo Simulation. D. Gantt charts. Answer: C. Monte Carlo Simulation. When duration estimates have a high degree of uncertainty, Monte Carlo simulation is the most effective scheduling technique to account for this. It performs a large number of iterations of a project schedule, using probability distributions for activity durations, e.g., optimistic, most likely, pessimistic. The output is a probability distribution for the entire project's completion date and cost, providing a range of possible outcomes and their likelihood, rather than a single fixed date. This helps in understanding the level of schedule risk and setting more realistic expectations. Question 96. A new project has just been initiated, and the project manager needs to ensure all project participants understand the vision and objectives clearly. What is the best way to facilitate this understanding and foster early alignment? A. Send out a detailed email outlining the project objectives. B. Schedule individual meetings with each team member to explain their role. C. Conduct a project kickoff meeting with all key stakeholders and the project team. D. Provide access to the project charter and project management plan. Answer: C. Conduct a project kickoff meeting with all key stakeholders and the project team. To ensure all project participants understand the vision and objectives and to foster early alignment, conducting a comprehensive project kickoff meeting with all key stakeholders and the project team is the best approach. This meeting provides a collective forum for everyone to hear the project's purpose, scope, and objectives directly, ask questions, and engage in initial discussions. It establishes shared understanding, builds a sense of team, and sets the stage for collaborative work. A kickoff meeting builds the crucial shared context. Question 97. A project manager is updating the risk register during project execution. A new opportunity is identified that could significantly benefit the project if leveraged. What is the most appropriate response strategy for this opportunity? A. Exploit. B. Share. C. Enhance. D. Accept. Answer: A. Exploit. When a significant opportunity is identified, the most appropriate risk response strategy from the positive risk, opportunity, responses is exploit. This strategy involves taking proactive actions to ensure the opportunity definitely happens and its positive impact is maximized. This could mean allocating additional resources, adopting new technologies, or pursuing a new approach that guarantees the realization of the opportunity's benefits. The goal is to fully leverage the positive potential, rather than simply enhancing its probability or impact, sharing it, or passively accepting it. Question 98. A project manager is leading a technical team that is highly skilled but tends to work in silos, leading to duplication of effort and communication gaps. What approach should the project manager encourage to improve efficiency and collaboration? A. Implement stricter individual performance metrics. B. Encourage pair programming, code reviews, and cross-training. C. Restructure the team into smaller, specialized sub-teams. D. Hold fewer meetings to give the team more uninterrupted work time. Answer: B. Encourage pair programming, code reviews, and cross-training. When a highly skilled team works in silos, leading to duplicated effort and communication gaps, the project manager should encourage practices that inherently promote collaboration and knowledge sharing. Pair programming, 2 developers working on one workstation, regular code reviews, and cross-training initiatives force team members to interact, share knowledge, and build collective understanding. These practices break down silos, improve communication, reduce rework, and enhance overall team efficiency and quality. It's about fostering collective intelligence. Question 99. The project manager is using Earned Value Management, EVM, to track project performance. At a certain point in time, the project's earned value, EV, is $150,000, planned value, PV, is $180,000, and actual cost, AC, is $160,000. What is the project schedule performance index, SPI? A. SPI equals 0.83. B. SPI equals 0.94. C. SPI equals 1.07. D. SPI equals 0.90. Answer: A. SPI equals 0.83. The Schedule Performance Index, SPI, is calculated as earned value, EV, divided by planned value, PV. In this scenario, EV is $150,000 and PV is $180,000. Therefore, SPI equals $150,000/$180,000 equals 0.83. An SPI less than 1.0 indicates that the project is behind schedule in terms of work completed relative to what was planned. Note: no explicit calculation shown in explanation as per instructions, but the formula application is explained. Question 100. A project manager discovers that a competitor has just launched a product that closely matches the features of the project's current deliverable, potentially reducing its market viability. This was an unforeseen external event. What should the project manager do? A. Continue with the project as planned, hoping the competitor's product fails. B. Cancel the project immediately, as market viability is compromised. C. Facilitate a rapid re-evaluation of the project's strategic alignment and market value with key stakeholders and the sponsor. D. Increase marketing efforts for the project's product to overshadow the competitor. Answer: C. Facilitate a rapid re-evaluation of the project's strategic alignment and market value with key stakeholders and the sponsor. When a competitor launches a similar product, threatening market viability, the project manager must immediately assess the strategic impact. The most appropriate action is to facilitate a rapid re-evaluation of the project's strategic alignment and market value with key stakeholders and the sponsor. This discussion should determine if the project's objectives are still valid, if changes to scope or strategy are needed, or if the project should be reprioritized or even terminated. This ensures the project remains aligned with business goals and delivers meaningful value in a changed market. Always adapt to changing business environments. Question 101. A project manager is coaching an Agile team. The team is consistently producing working software, but the user stories they pick for sprints are often low value, leading to dissatisfaction from the product owner and stakeholders. What should the project manager advise the team and product owner on? A. Focus on technical excellence over business value. B. Emphasize the importance of clear acceptance criteria for all stories. C. Prioritize stories based on business value, technical risk, and dependency. D. Increase the size of stories to deliver more features at once. Answer: C. Prioritize stories based on business value, technical risk, and dependency. When an Agile team delivers working software but struggles with delivering high-value features, the issue lies in the prioritization of the product backlog. The project manager should advise the team and product owner to prioritize stories not just by functionality, but explicitly by business value, considering technical risk, and understanding dependencies. This ensures that the team consistently works on the most impactful features first, aligning development efforts with strategic goals and addressing stakeholder satisfaction. Delivering value, not just working code, is key in Agile. Question 102. A project manager is midway through a large-scale IT infrastructure upgrade. A critical server fails unexpectedly, causing a complete system outage and impacting project progress and ongoing business operations. What should the project manager do first? A. Immediately notify all affected stakeholders about the outage and the project delay. B. Work with the technical team to understand the root cause of the failure and activate the system recovery plan. C. Submit a change request to extend the project timeline and increase the budget. D. Assign blame to the operations team for poor system maintenance. Answer: B. Work with the technical team to understand the root cause of the failure and activate the system recovery plan. When a critical system failure occurs and causes a significant outage, the project manager's immediate priority is to understand the problem and initiate recovery. Working collaboratively with the technical team to diagnose the root cause is essential for effective resolution. Simultaneously, activating a pre-existing system recovery plan, often part of a broader risk response or disaster recovery plan, ensures that structured steps are taken to restore functionality as quickly as possible, minimizing business impact before communicating to stakeholders. Focus on problem solving first. Question 103. The project manager is experiencing challenges due to ambiguous requirements from stakeholders, leading to frequent rework and delays. What is the best way to address this problem proactively during the planning phase of future projects? A. Implement stricter contract terms to hold stakeholders accountable for clear requirements. B. Engage stakeholders in workshops and prototyping sessions to refine and confirm requirements early. C. Assign a dedicated business analyst to independently gather all requirements. D. Add more contingency time and budget to account for future rework. Answer: B. Engage stakeholders in workshops and prototyping sessions to refine and confirm requirements early. Ambiguous requirements are a common cause of rework and delays. To proactively address this, especially in future projects, the project manager should engage stakeholders directly in interactive sessions like workshops, joint application design, JAD, sessions, or prototyping. These techniques facilitate collaborative requirement gathering and validation, allowing stakeholders to visualize and confirm their needs early, significantly reducing ambiguity and the likelihood of rework later in the project lifecycle. Involving stakeholders deeply early on helps capture their true needs. Question 104. A project manager is asked by a functional manager to release a key resource to another urgent project for 2 weeks. This resource is currently working on a critical path activity. What should the project manager do? A. Immediately agree to the request to maintain good interdepartmental relations. B. Refuse the request, citing the critical path impact. C. Assess the impact of the resource's temporary unavailability on the critical path and project objectives, then discuss with both the functional manager and project sponsor. D. Find a temporary replacement for the resource from within the existing project team. Answer: C. Assess the impact of the resource's temporary unavailability on the critical path and project objectives, then discuss with both the functional manager and project sponsor. When a request is made to reassign a resource working on a critical path activity, the project manager must first understand the potential impact before making a decision. Assessing how the resource's temporary absence will affect the critical path, overall project schedule, budget, and quality objectives provides the necessary data. This analysis then forms the basis for a discussion with both the functional manager, to understand their needs, and the project sponsor, to jointly decide the best course of action, ensuring an informed decision that balances organizational priorities with project success. Question 105. A project is using a Kanban approach. The team consistently has many items in the "in progress" column, leading to long lead times and reduced throughput. What is the most effective way to address this? A. Increase the work in progress, WIP, limit to allow more items to be worked on simultaneously. B. Reduce the work in progress, WIP, limit to force completion of existing tasks before starting new ones. C. Assign more team members to work on, in progress, tasks to speed them up. D. Stop all new work until the in progress column is empty. Answer: B. Reduce the work in progress, WIP, limit to force completion of existing tasks before starting new ones. In Kanban, having too many items, in progress, high WIP, is a common cause of long lead times and reduced throughput. The most effective way to address this is to reduce the work in progress, WIP, limit. This forces the team to focus on completing existing tasks before pulling new ones, encouraging collaboration to unblock and finish work. Lowering WIP limits reveals bottlenecks and promotes a smoother flow, ultimately improving efficiency and the speed at which value is delivered. Less work in progress often means more work completed. Question 106. A key project stakeholder suddenly withdraws their support for the project after a minor deliverable did not meet their exact personal preference, despite meeting the agreed-upon quality standards. This jeopardizes future funding. What should the project manager do first? A. Inform the project sponsor about the stakeholder's uncooperative behavior. B. Revisit the stakeholder engagement plan and schedule a private meeting to understand their underlying concerns and realign expectations. C. Ignore the stakeholder, as the deliverable met agreed standards. D. Immediately adjust the deliverable to meet the stakeholder's personal preference. Answer: B. Revisit the stakeholder engagement plan and schedule a private meeting to understand their underlying concerns and realign expectations. When a key stakeholder withdraws support due to a perceived issue, even if the deliverable met agreed standards, the project manager must proactively address the relationship. Revisiting the stakeholder engagement plan and scheduling a private meeting is crucial to understand the underlying concerns, which may go beyond the specific deliverable. This direct, empathetic engagement allows the project manager to realign expectations, reiterate project objectives, and potentially find a collaborative path forward, demonstrating a commitment to stakeholder satisfaction and protecting the project's vital support. Relationships are key to project success. Question 107. A project manager is reviewing the project's risk management plan. The plan includes a detailed list of identified risks and their assessed probabilities and impacts. What is the next logical step in the risk management process after this review? A. Implement the risk responses. B. Monitor and control risks. C. Plan risk responses. D. Identify new risks. Answer: C. Plan risk responses. After identifying and analyzing risks, qualitatively or quantitatively, the next logical step in the risk management process is to plan risk responses. This involves developing options and actions to enhance opportunities and reduce threats to project objectives. It's about deciding what proactive measures will be taken for each significant risk, before the risks actually occur. Implementing responses and monitoring risks come later, once these plans are developed and approved. Question 108. A project team is nearing the deadline for a critical deliverable. Due to unforeseen complexities, the team realizes they will not be able to meet the deadline with the current resources. The project manager needs to address this. What is the most appropriate action? A. Ask the team to work extended hours to meet the deadline. B. Communicate the impending delay to the sponsor and stakeholders, explaining the reasons and proposing options. C. Immediately request additional resources without discussing the implications. D. Cut quality corners to ensure the deadline is met. Answer: B. Communicate the impending delay to the sponsor and stakeholders, explaining the reasons and proposing options. When a project team realizes it cannot meet a critical deadline, the most appropriate action for the project manager is transparent and proactive communication. Informing the sponsor and key stakeholders about the impending delay, clearly explaining the unforeseen complexities and their impact, and proposing viable options, e.g., reprioritization, scope reduction, additional resources with cost implications, or a revised timeline, demonstrates accountability and allows for informed decision-making at the executive level. Timely and honest communication is crucial for managing expectations and maintaining trust. Question 109. An Agile team has grown significantly in size. The product owner observes that coordinating work and maintaining a shared understanding of priorities has become increasingly difficult, impacting productivity. What should the product owner and Scrum Master consider? A. Reduce the team size to improve communication. B. Implement a more formal, predictive project management approach. C. Divide the large team into smaller, cross-functional Agile teams, potentially forming a Scrum of Scrums. D. Increase the length of sprints to allow more time for coordination. Answer: C. Divide the large team into smaller, cross-functional Agile teams, potentially forming a Scrum of Scrums. When an Agile team grows too large, typically beyond 9 to 10 members, communication and coordination challenges often arise, impacting productivity. The most effective solution is to divide the large team into smaller, independent, cross-functional Agile teams. To maintain coordination across these multiple teams, scaling frameworks like Scrum of Scrums can be implemented, allowing teams to synchronize efforts, address dependencies, and share insights. This approach preserves the benefits of Agile, autonomy, focus, while addressing the complexities of larger initiatives. Question 110. A project manager discovers that a recently completed deliverable, which passed internal quality checks, has a serious defect identified by the customer during user acceptance testing. The defect requires significant rework. What should the project manager do first? A. Inform the project sponsor about the defect and the rework required. B. Convene the project team to identify the root cause of the defect and plan the rework. C. Apologize to the customer and assure them it will be fixed immediately. D. Review the quality management plan to determine if the quality checks were insufficient. Answer: B. Convene the project team to identify the root cause of the defect and plan the rework. When a critical defect is found by the customer after internal quality checks, the immediate priority is to understand why it occurred and how to fix it effectively. Convening the project team to perform a root cause analysis helps identify the underlying reasons for the defect and its failure to be caught internally. This understanding is crucial for planning the necessary rework efficiently and, more importantly, for implementing preventive actions to avoid similar defects in the future, thus improving the project's quality processes. Fix the problem, then fix the process. Question 111. A project manager is leading a project where team members are co-located but belong to different functional departments. They frequently prioritize their departmental tasks over project tasks, causing delays. What should the project manager do to encourage project task prioritization? A. Escalate individual team members' behavior to their functional managers. B. Implement performance bonuses tied solely to project task completion. C. Establish clear project priorities and communicate the project's strategic importance and how individual contributions align with its success. D. Take over the prioritization of individual team members' functional tasks. Answer: C. Establish clear project priorities and communicate the project's strategic importance and how individual contributions align with its success. When co-located team members prioritize departmental tasks over project tasks, it often stems from a lack of clear understanding of the project's importance or how their work contributes to its success. The project manager should proactively establish clear project priorities and consistently communicate the project's strategic importance and how each team member's contributions directly align with achieving its goals. This helps team members see the bigger picture and understand why project tasks should take precedence, fostering commitment and alignment. Emphasize the why behind the work. Question 112. A project manager needs to estimate the duration of a complex, interdependent set of activities. There is some historical data, but each activity also has unique uncertainties. Which technique would provide a more robust estimate by considering different scenarios? A. Analogous estimating. B. Expert judgment. C. 3-point, PERT, estimating. D. Parametric estimating. Answer: C. 3-point, PERT, estimating. When estimating activity durations with unique uncertainties but some historical data, 3-point, PERT, program evaluation and review technique, estimating provides a more robust approach. Instead of a single estimate, it uses 3 estimates for each activity: optimistic, O, most likely, M, and pessimistic, P. These are then combined using a weighted average formula, e.g., O plus 4M plus P/6, to produce a more realistic and statistically sound duration estimate that accounts for uncertainty in different scenarios. This helps in understanding the range of possible outcomes. Question 113. A project manager observes that team members are reluctant to share bad news or challenges with them, often trying to solve problems independently until they become critical. This culture of silence is delaying issue resolution. What should the project manager do? A. Implement a formal reporting structure where all issues must be documented immediately. B. Create a psychologically safe environment where team members feel comfortable raising issues early without fear of blame. C. Impose penalties for concealing issues that later become critical. D. Assign a dedicated problem solver role to a team member. Answer: B. Create a psychologically safe environment where team members feel comfortable raising issues early without fear of blame. When team members are reluctant to share bad news, it indicates a lack of psychological safety. The project manager must actively work to create an environment where team members feel safe to raise issues, challenges, and concerns early without fear of blame or reprisal. This involves demonstrating empathy, encouraging open communication, praising transparency, and focusing on problem-solving collectively rather than fault-finding. A culture of trust and safety is essential for early issue detection and resolution, preventing small problems from escalating into critical ones. Question 114. A project manager is leading a research project where the final product specifications are expected to evolve significantly as new discoveries are made. What type of project management approach is most suitable for this scenario? A. Predictive, waterfall. B. Adaptive, agile. C. Hybrid. D. Lean. Answer: B. Adaptive, agile. For a research project where the final product specifications are expected to evolve significantly due to new discoveries, an adaptive, agile, project management approach is most suitable. Agile methodologies embrace change and uncertainty through iterative development, frequent feedback loops, and continuous refinement of requirements. This allows the project to adapt to new information and discoveries as they emerge, ensuring the final product delivers the highest value based on the latest understanding, rather than adhering to a rigid upfront plan. Agile thrives on evolution and learning. Question 115. During the project, a new compliance requirement is introduced by an external regulatory body, which was not foreseen in the initial risk assessment. This requires a mandatory change to a core feature. What is this best described as? A. An internal risk. B. An external risk. C. A residual risk. D. A secondary risk. Answer: B. An external risk. A new compliance requirement introduced by an external regulatory body, which was not foreseen, is best described as an external risk. External risks originate outside the project and are generally beyond the project team's direct control, such as changes in laws, regulations, market conditions, or natural disasters. The unforeseen aspect means it was not initially identified, but its origin makes it clearly external to the project's internal operations. Question 116. A project manager has identified a significant opportunity to cut project costs by using a new, unproven technology. However, this technology carries a high technical risk. The project has a fixed schedule and limited room for delays. What should the project manager do? A. Immediately adopt the new technology to realize cost savings. B. Reject the new technology due to the high technical risk. C. Conduct a detailed risk-benefit analysis, considering the potential cost savings against the risk of schedule delays, and present findings to the sponsor. D. Implement the new technology on a small, non-critical part of the project as a pilot. Answer: C. Conduct a detailed risk-benefit analysis, considering the potential cost savings against the risk of schedule delays, and present findings to the sponsor. When faced with a significant opportunity that also carries high risk and could impact critical project constraints, the project manager's role is to provide a balanced, data-driven recommendation. Conducting a detailed risk-benefit analysis involves thoroughly evaluating the potential cost savings against the likelihood and impact of technical risks and schedule delays. This analysis provides the necessary information to present to the sponsor, allowing them to make an informed decision based on a comprehensive understanding of the trade-offs involved. Don't make high-stakes decisions without a clear understanding of the risks and rewards. Question 117. A new team member joins an Agile project. During the first few sprints, they consistently struggle to understand the scope of user stories and the team's processes, leading to delays. What should the Scrum Master or Project Manager do to integrate the new team member effectively? A. Assign them only simple, isolated tasks until they learn the ropes. B. Provide a comprehensive onboarding process, including pairing with experienced team members, regular check-ins, and access to team documentation. C. Give them a self-study guide and expect them to learn independently. D. Ask the team to simplify their processes to accommodate the new member. Answer: B. Provide a comprehensive onboarding process, including pairing with experienced team members, regular check-ins, and access to team documentation. Effectively integrating a new team member into an Agile project is crucial for team performance. A comprehensive onboarding process that includes pairing them with experienced team members allows for direct knowledge transfer and mentorship. Regular check-ins provide opportunities to address questions and monitor progress, while access to team documentation ensures they can independently review processes and scope. This supportive and structured approach helps the new member quickly become a productive and well-aligned part of the team. Invest in your new team members to set them up for success. Question 118. A project is facing a significant financial shortfall due to unforeseen market conditions. The project manager needs to determine how much money is currently available for the remaining work. What earned value management (EVM) metric would provide this information? A. Estimate at completion (EAC). B. Budget at completion (BAC). C. Estimate to complete (ETC). D. Variance at completion (VAC). Answer: C. Estimate to complete (ETC). When a project faces a financial shortfall and the project manager needs to determine how much money is currently available for the remaining work, the estimate to complete (ETC) is the relevant earned value management metric. ETC is the expected cost to finish all the remaining work of the project. It provides a forward-looking estimate of the funds still required, which is crucial for financial planning and making decisions about the project's future, especially in the face of funding challenges. Question 119. A project manager is leading a project that requires significant collaboration with a client who operates in a different country and has a very different cultural background. Communication misunderstandings are frequent. What is the most effective way for the project manager to improve collaboration? A. Insist that all communication be in the project manager's native language. B. Focus solely on written communication to avoid misinterpretation. C. Invest time in understanding the client's cultural norms, communication styles, and decision-making processes. D. Limit communication to only formal review meetings. Answer: C. Invest time in understanding the client's cultural norms, communication styles, and decision-making processes. When leading a global project with a client from a different cultural background, investing time in understanding their cultural norms, communication styles, and decision-making processes is the most effective way to improve collaboration. This proactive cultural intelligence helps the project manager tailor communication, anticipate misunderstandings, and build stronger relationships based on mutual respect and understanding, ultimately fostering smoother project execution. Cultural awareness is as important as technical skills in global project management. Question 120. During a crucial phase of the project manager notices that the team's capacity is consistently overestimated, leading to overcommitment and missed deadlines. What should the project manager do to improve future planning? A. Reduce the team's workload significantly for upcoming phases. B. Rely solely on expert judgment for future estimates, ignoring historical data. C. Encourage the team to track their actual effort and use historical data, e.g., velocity in Agile, to refine future capacity planning. D. Implement stricter penalties for missed deadlines to motivate the team. Answer: C. Encourage the team to track their actual effort and use historical data, e.g., velocity in Agile, to refine future capacity planning. When a team consistently overestimates its capacity and misses deadlines, the most effective way to improve future planning is to base estimates on actual performance data. Encouraging the team to diligently track their actual effort for completed tasks and then using this historical data, like velocity in Agile contexts, helps them understand their true sustainable capacity. This data-driven approach allows for more realistic planning and commitment in future phases, leading to improved predictability and successful project delivery. Learn from your past performance to plan for the future.